A season-long journey follows a path to greatness. A destination. A dream. A quest for excellence. It's your time. A time to compete for a place in Nebraska sports history. Great moments are earned here. Play like a champion. Welcome to the NSAA State Football Championships on NET.
NET Sports, Nebraska's home for sports, is live from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska for the 2012 Nebraska High School Football Championships. And this afternoon in Class D1, it's the Exeter-Milligan Timberwolves taking on Elgin Public Pope John, the Wolfpack. And hello again, everybody. I'm Larry Putney, along with former Husker Matt Davison. Great to have you with us as we get ready to crown our second state champion of the day. And this in Class D1, we have a couple of teams unbeaten coming in, but one has been here before. Defending state champ Elgin Public Pope John, but they've got a terrific offense led by an outstanding quarterback.
Yeah, Ross Schindler is an unbelievable player, and he's trying to one-up his brother Jake, who has just one state championship. Ross trying to get his second here this afternoon. He's had a big season, over 1,000 yards rushing, over 600 passing. He's combined for 34 touchdowns this season. Three points a game. They're going to be a big test today for points.
Right.
Defensively this year, it's going to be a great matchup.
Should be a good one. They've been here before. The team on the other side has not. That's Exeter-Milligan. Blake Lawrence joins us to talk about the Wolfpack. And Exeter-Milligan, 10 straight times in the state playoffs, but never been this far before.
Right. They're making this far because they're led by a great offense. They're putting about 49 points per game, almost to the 300-yard mark on rushing per game. And they're led by a guy, Kyle Jensen, a sophomore running back. He's 5'10", 170 pounds, and he's got a lot of talent. The one thing to look for Kyle is how many yards he picks up per carry. 7.1 yards per carry, 16 touchdowns on the year. And don't forget, this Exeter-Milligan defense, as Matt alluded to, is pretty stout as well. They've got 6 players that have over 100 tackles. Kyle Jensen, the sophomore, is one of those guys, and he's looking to lead this defense against a very tough Wolfpack.
Should be a good one. A couple of 12-0 teams. For more, let's go down to the sideline and John Bishop.
Well, another thing that Exeter-Milligan has had to overcome, despite the fact they've never been this far before, is they lost their quarterback, Nolan White, at the end of the regular season. So what they did, as a lot of teams in 8-man football will do, is they'll move a guy over from another skill position. And in this case, it was James Slocum, moved over from running back to play quarterback. So far, it's worked well for them. We'll see if it can work for one more game here this afternoon.
All right, thanks, John. So for the second consecutive game, we have 2 undefeated teams walking here into Memorial Stadium looking for a state championship. Number 2 ranked Elgin Public Pope John, the Wolfpack. Number 3 ranked Exeter-Milligan, the Timberwolves. Should be a good one. We have a couple of great offenses, a couple of teams, guys that have played great defense as well throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, the one thing I looked for from the Wolfpack, and Matt introduced him earlier in the game, but that's Ross Schindler. They got a great quarterback who does a lot of things on defense as well. And this is a team that has talent all around, and their coaches got to be excited. Both teams are here undefeated. They got about 48 minutes left between hoisting the trophy and looking at that regular season.
So, Matt, how much emphasis do you place on the fact that one team has been here, won a title last year? For the other team, it's the first time here at Exeter-Milligan.
You know, I think there's a lot to it when you're playing in this stadium. If you were just playing another high school game and it was the final somewhere else, maybe not. But being in this arena, in this stage with the big screens and everything, I think it does give an advantage. You know, I think it's going to come down to which defense can get that big stop, guys. I mean, we talk about these offenses. They've both been very good all year long. Both defenses have been good, but I think when it comes down to it today, it's who can get the big stop late in the game. That could be the team that raises the trophy at the end of the day.
Well, you look at the offenses. Elgin Public Pope John comes in averaging 53 a game. Exeter-Milligan averages 48 a game. Defensively, though, the edge may go to Elgin Pope John. They've allowed 9 a game, whereas Exeter-Milligan almost 17 a game.
Well, they're both phenomenal. You look at the stats. You don't get undefeated all the way here without a solid overall team. And I think right now you're looking at Exeter-Milligan. They're a team that likes to force turnovers. And we, after talking with Coach Kerry Wells from Elgin Public Pope John, he said we got to limit the turnovers.
In the semifinals for Exeter-Milligan, they knocked off BDS. Exeter-Milligan actually trailed in that game by 16 late, scored 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns. So Exeter-Milligan, a team that's not unfamiliar from having to come from behind late.
Yeah, and that experience can go a long way. We've seen it with the Huskers this year, haven't we?
Yeah,
So, you know, knowing you can come back if you get behind, I think is big. And you know, you look at Elgin Public Pope John, and I think they've only trailed for 1 quarter all year. So they haven't had to deal with coming from behind. So if Exeter-Milligan can get a lead today, we'll see how they respond to that.
Well, time now to introduce you to the players. And for that, we head to our public address announcer. Here's Doc Weiniger.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Nebraska School Activities Association, its member schools, and U.S. Bank, welcome to Memorial Stadium for the Class D1 State Championship game. Today's game features the Exeter-Milligan Timberwolves versus the Wolfpack of Elgin Public and Pope John High Schools. And now, let's meet the players and coaches competing in today's game. First, let's meet the visiting team, the Exeter-Milligan Timberwolves. Number 1, Dustin Axline. Number 3, Samuel Zeleny. Number 4, Jarrett Maxson. Number 5, Robert Andrina. Number 7, Jesper Anker. Number 10, James Smuka. Number 19, Nathan Oliva. Number 20, Sean Maxson. Number 21, Nolan White. Number 22, Braden Olson. Number 23, Jesse Hall. Number 27, Devin Sheffield. Number 28, Kyle Jensen. Number 32, Jonathan Mounds. Number 36, Dalton Zelinka. Number 50, Brock Mueller. Number 58, Brody Tressa. Number 63, Blake Popek. Number 65, Zachary Kroll. Number 73, Garrett Pribble. Number 81, Spencer Popek. Number 82, Derek Luzum. Number 85, Kirby Sokup. Number 96, Jack Deneen. And the head coach for the Timberwolves is Dean Philippi.
So Dean Philippi in his 14th season. He has not taken a team to the state championship game. He did win one with Milligan back in 1998. That was in Class D3. But the first time the combined schools of Exeter and Milligan have made it here to Memorial Stadium. 10 straight years in the playoffs, and you can go back and take a look at what they've done. They've lost in the first round, the second round twice, the first round 3 more times. Made it as far as the quarterfinals back in 2009, but this the deepest, in fact, the semifinals were the deepest they had ever been, and now making it to the state finals. It'll be Exeter-Milligan ranked 3rd. Under that man, Dean Philippi, taking on Elgin Public Pope John. Now time to meet the Wolfpack, and for that we go back to Doc Weiniger.
Now let's meet the home team, the Elgin Public Pope John Wolfpack. Number 2, Levi Kirkman. Number 4, Alex Pelster. Number 5, Andrew Fangman. Number 6, Ross Schindler. Number 7, Ryan Pelster. Number 8, Seth Shoemaker. Number 10, Nick Hyda. Number 11, Truman Copeland. Number 12, Tyler Smith. Number 13, Shane Beckman. Number 15, Kyle Koloff. Number 16, Austin Meade. Number 17, Zach Polk. Number 18, Austin Hyde. Number 19, Lee Bartak. Number 21, Blake Anderson. Number 25, Chase Chrysler. Number 27, Andrew Hyda. Number 28, Alois Warner. Number 37, Scott Moser. Number 38, Blake Schrage. Number 48, Kyle Hyda. Number 55, Trent Bauer. Number 75, Bo Hyda. Number 77, Alex Grossero. Number 81, Peter Starman. Number 85, Trent Hofer. Number 89, Dylan Bang. Head coach for the Wolfpack is Carly Wells.
Carly Wells in his 13th season with Elgin Public Pope John, 83-47 record. He ranks among the highlights last year's state championship win, and also as a player having won a state championship back in 1987 with Broken Bow. Well, let's introduce you to these two teams and from where they come. Elgin, of course, from Elgin, Nebraska, Elgin Public, Elgin Pope John. They combined a few years ago to create Elgin Public Pope John, the Wolfpack. They're 12-0. And Exeter-Milligan, just south of Lincoln, coming in at 12-0 as well. How'd they get here? Well, let's take a look at the brackets. You see Elgin Public Pope John knocked off Loop City and Arapahoe to get here. Exeter-Milligan with wins over High Plains Community and a tough one against BDS in the semifinals. We'll chat more about that as the game goes on. Now time for our national anthem. For the introductions, let's go to Doc Weiniger.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. At this time, we would ask that you please rise as we honor our flag and our country with the singing of our national anthem. Singing the anthem today will be the Ashland Greenwood High School Girls Duet of Ellie Libby and Savannah Kissel, directed by Mrs. Amy Krantz Went.
Ashland Greenwood High School girls duet. Now we're ready for football. Class D1 state championship. It's Elgin Public, Pope John, and Exeter-Milligan coming up on NET Sports.
Time Warner Cable is dedicated to the future of our nation's children. That's why we've launched our Connect a Million Minds initiative. We're asking adults to help us inspire kids through science, technology, engineering, and math. And we're achieving this through local partnerships with FIRST. Across the country, Time Warner Cable employees are helping bring FIRST robotics competitions to the areas we serve. The future of our nation and our children depends on math, science, and technology. Visit connectamillionminds.com to find out what you can do.
I know he's not talking yet, but I know what he wants.
Do you think she should be walking by now?
Oh, he'll grow out of it, won't he?
Delays in development can be tricky to spot, especially when you are so close to the ones you love. If you have concerns or just have questions about your child's development, the Early Development Network is here to help. The sooner you call, the sooner you can make a difference for your child. Call your local district or toll free for a free evaluation.
Hey, college doesn't just happen. There's a few things you need to do to find the school that's the right fit for you.
Yeah, like thinking about your career interests and then researching colleges that fit those interests.
And going to college fairs and talking with college representatives that visit your school.
And most importantly, you should visit the schools that interest you. After all, you wouldn't buy a pair of shoes without trying them on first, would you?
This is NET Television. More channels and more choices.
Coming to PBS, one of the season's most anticipated films. From Ken Burns comes a spellbinding and definitive epic.
You could see this rim of dust rising. It was dark, black, scary.
The Dust Bowl is a gripping oral history that's bringing our national past to life.
We always had hope.
The Dust Bowl.
Wednesday night on NET1.
Well, John Bishop's prayers were answered with the weather today. Terrific day for football. 62 degrees, fair, 40% humidity. I mean, it's just, it could not get any better for high school football in November in Nebraska. He's not wearing hat, gloves, anything on the field, and he's loving life. Let's take a look at the officials. Referee Brian Nolte out of Louisville, Larry Schrader of Omaha, Steve Nolte out of Tecumseh, Jamie Stenson from Omaha, Ben Ideas, and Rick Stromer is our red hat.
Well, 3 of those guys are from Tecumseh, so we hope we don't have any problems with the officials today. I know them all very well. Brian Nolte in the white hat, we'll be hearing from him a lot today.
Deep to receive, Pelster and Hying, and a touchback. So Elgin Public, Pope John will have the ball at the 15. Class D1, 8-man football, 80-yard field, so the goal lines are at what would be the 10-yard lines here at Memorial Stadium. On a touchback, anytime the ball goes into the end zone, the ball gets placed at the 15, so we're ready to go. Look at Elgin Pope John. The Wolfpack on offense to start it off. Ross Schindler under center. Schindler sticks it in the belly of Blake Anderson, and Anderson with a short gain on first down. Here's a look at the offense for Elgin Public, Pope John, the Wolfpack. Schindler, Hying, Anderson, Hightoff, and Hightoff are the backs and receivers. Offensive line, Kyle Hightoff, Hofer, and Bartak. 4 Hightoff boys on this team. 2 brothers, 2 cousins. Nick and Kyle are brothers. I'm just going to call Hightoff all after the long.
Toss out today.
That's right. Toss outside to Hying, and Hying with a nice gain. Out near the 25-yard line, about the 24. That'll bring up 3rd down and 1. Defensively for Exeter-Milligan, the T-Wolves, led by Luzum, Pribble, and Papik up front on the defensive line. They're backs and linebackers. Nolan White injured, but still playing at linebacker. Androida, Axline, Chinson, and Sluka. 3rd down, they'll call it 2 for the Wolfpack. A quick give. Might have enough for the first down. Very close to a first down to the carry by Blake Anderson. Anderson carried for 684 yards on the year, and it is enough for a first down.
Just 3 down linemen and then 4 linebackers. 7 guys in the box, but 3 guys down, and so they just give it to the first man through, just needing a couple of yards, and got just enough for the first down.
Ross Schindler at quarterback, the 6'1", 165 senior. Runs the show as he pulls it out, keeps it himself, and he's got room. Look out, Ross Schindler down the far sideline. Touchdown, Ross Schindler, 55 yards for 6.
Ross Schindler with his 29th touchdown of the year. Once he gets going, not many people can catch him. That's why he's good for about 9 yards a carry. Great read here, going with the play fake early. Wow. How far was that, Larry?
55 yards.
He got there pretty fast. Great run by Ross Schindler.
We saw 2 of the first 3 plays were the give to the fullback. First man through, they start to suck in on that, and he pulls it, and around the right side. First time he was able to get a big gap, and he took it to the house.
So 2-point try now for the Wolfpack. The toss outside to Hying. Hying ducks it up, and across for the 2-point conversion. Did not take long for the Wolfpack to strike. Elgin Public Pope John goes the length of the field in its first possession, and they lead it 8-0.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot of momentum going to get going. Both these teams like to use the ground game to get on the board. Sometimes it happens fast, and that's a good sign that the Wolfpack are ready for today's game. And Exeter-Milligan, they're probably on the sideline saying, okay, let's see what we can do on the ground. But that's a quick start for the Wolfpack, and these guys aren't going to look back anytime soon.
Well, we told you the Wolfpack, the defending state champs. Let's take a look back at last year's D1 title game.
The Wolfpack of Elgin Pope John stayed undefeated by knocking off the defending champion Blue Jays of Guardian Angel Central Catholic in the 2011 Class D1 Championship. The Wolfpack capitalized on a failed fake punt attempt by the Blue Jays. Nash Schindler's 33-yard touchdown run was the first of many points to come. The Wolfpack's defense was able to keep the Blue Jays' offense at bay, holding them to only 218 total yards. Both Ross and Nash Schindler ran for over 100 yards, leading the Wolfpack to a 44-14 victory. The Elgin Pope John Wolfpack were crowned undefeated Class D1 champions.
Back again this year, trying to make it 2 in a row for the Wolfpack. Head coach Carly Wells.
He's got to be happy with the way this game starts.
3 plays?
Yeah.
85 yards.
There you go.
65. Bad math. Take it away from 80, not 100 yards. comes down to Sluka, and Sluka out past the 20 to about the 21-yard line.
I noticed it right away.
Thanks, yeah.
I bet I didn't.
I appreciate it. Timberwolves will take over 1st and 10 from the 21.
Thing is, for both of these teams, they have playmakers on offense. So you have a breakdown defensively, you don't have a good fit with a linebacker, and it's going to be 6 points. And I think we're going to see that a whole bunch this afternoon.
So here's a look at the quarterback for the Timberwolves. It's James Sluka. Sluka started off the season as a running back, was moved to quarterback at the end of the regular season when Nolan White was hurt. He hands it off. That's Jensen with the carry. Kyle Jensen, a 5'10", 169 sophomore. Let's take a look at the offense for the Timberwolves. Begin with James Sluka, who is their quarterback. Kyle Jensen, you just saw him. Androida, Axline, and Luzum, tight end. Up front, Papik, Oliva, and Pribble. On second play from scrimmage. And second and short, tripped up by Nick Hightoff. And Hightoff, of course, a 3rd down. Let's take a look at the defense for the Wolfpack. Bartek, Hofer, and Beckman up front. Hightoff at the inside linebacker, along with Kyle, Blake Anderson, and Nick Hightoff the outsides, and Schindler at safety. So 3 of the 4 linebackers are Hightoff. Hightoff in there to make a play on 3rd and short. And he will be just short of a 1st down.
They got 8 yards, on 1st down. The next 2 downs, defense really stepped up. Was able to force this short and 4th and short.
4th down and 1. And then there is Robbie Androina to punt. Androina averaging just over 34 yards per punt on the season. No one deep for the Wolfpack. The punt is away. Rolled down the sideline and finally out at about the 19-yard line. So here come the Wolfpack for their second possession after stopping the Exeter-Milligan attack.
You know, you mentioned earlier Exeter-Milligan. They've been cakewalking over teams all year, and they were challenged last week. So this is not unusual as of last week to be in a situation where you're down, but this is not where you want to be, where you give up a long play, then 3 and out in the first possession.
You see the score, 8-0. Here's Ross Schindler back out there. Schindler will keep again. Schindler stopped this time by that Exeter-Milligan defense.
It's the old 34 quarterback keep power play, Husker style with Eric Crouch. 2 lead backs through the right side. He just kept it, but good defense there. Just a short gain.
Robbie Androina on the stop. A gain of 2 brings up 2nd down and 8. Toss sweep out to Hying. Hying trying to pick his spot to get Kirkman. Kirkman on the carry. Levi Kirkman now in there at the running back.
Keep an eye on Garrett Pribble. He's a defensive end here. He fights off a block and makes first contact with the running back. He's got a broken hand. Matt, you ever play with a broken hand right now, a receiver?
I broke both of my hands at different points in college. Just a little bone in the hand, and it hurts. His is worse than mine were. I can tell you, it's gonna be a long day if he gets that thing stepped on or gets it smashed.
So 3rd down now and 5. Into Hying. Wrapped up in the backfield. First contact made in that interior line by Blake Papik, number 63. Also there, Kyle Jensen to help on the tackle.
Good answer there from Exeter-Milligan defense. They really needed to come up with a stop. Able to do that, force a punt.
So Nick Heitoff into punt. Heitoff averaging 37 yards per punt on the season. Deep is James Sluka for Exeter-Milligan. End over end, Sluka will get it at the 25. Looking for room, nowhere to go. Good coverage by the Wolfpack. He'll make it back to about the 29 is where they'll spot it, and that's where the Timberwolves will begin the drive, trying to even it up. They trail 8-0.
Neither of these teams have to punt very much throughout the season. When your offense has scored so many points, you kind of take it for granted these snaps on the punts, but don't be surprised if we see a mishap in special teams in the punt game today with neither of these teams punting much this year.
That's Heitoff's 11th punt on the year.
Hey, quick note, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email. Let us know what you think about our coverage of the NSAA high school football and volleyball championships. If you value your statewide NET television, let us know, and also let our sponsors know by writing to sports@netnebraska.org. Certainly thank you for watching the NSAA football championships on NET, NET HD, and online. And as you know, NET is Nebraska's home for sports. 6:40 to go here, first quarter action. The Class D1 state championship game, number 3 ranked Exeter-Milligan with the ball against number 2 Elgin Public Pope John. Give up the middle. Great power give. First man in, and Droida with the carry.
There's a little bit of a fake there, looking like Sluka was going to pitch it out to the back, and he hands it off instead to the fullback. That's give props to Sluka. He's coming in to replace Nolan White, who also has a broken hand. And just to do plays like that, sometimes it looks easy, but there's a lot that goes into it in practice.
Sluka under center. The wheel out of there, run the option. He's drugged down from behind. Good defensive play by number 48, Kyle Heitoff. 92 tackles on the season from that middle linebacker spot.
You look at these two offenses, and a lot of what they're doing is very similar. And that means that they're seeing it in practice all the time. See a face mask penalty there is going to move Exeter-Milligan forward, give them a first down. But you see this in practice every day, and Blake, you know it as a linebacker. You see the same look a lot, and you're not faked out maybe by those fakes quite so much, that half a step.
Yeah. Still second down.
And so, I feel like these two teams defensively probably aren't going to be confused a whole lot today.
Right. Got him with the face mask there, Alice. Right at the end.
Yeah. Kind of the arm across the face mask. 5-yard variety brings up second down and 1 for the Timberwolves. Sluka will drop back to pass under pressure. Good screen set up. Blockers out in front. Oh, just tripped over the 35-yard line and fell forward about a yard and a half.
And Droyna, he had a wide open lane right at the middle. Just gets tripped up by his own player. That happens. That's all right. That's a pretty good call there. One thing you got to do against this Wolfpack defense is keep them on their toes and setting up screen plays. That could be something good to see as the first quarter, second quarter comes on, how much they use that screen pass.
3rd down and 1. All up the middle, still fighting for extra yards is Kyle Jensen. Jensen very near midfield. They'll spot it at the 39 and call it 4th down.
About the length of the football short. I would guess you'll see him go for it here. Need about 6 inches to move the stick. State finals. That offensive line, get a push. Tell your kids, I believe in you. Go get a first down.
Into the game comes Nolan White and Jesse Hall. And that interior line.
Okay, maybe not. Let's punt it.
They're being a little concerned.
I gave a nice pump-up speech there.
We still believe in you, but we're going to punt it. And Droyna with the deep kick. Rolling toward the end zone and in. It will be marked back to the 15. So good kick by Robbie and Droyna. And seen good defensive play here now for 3 consecutive possessions.
You know, Matt, you mentioned it. Once you get this late in the game or late in the season for both these teams, they are playing similar teams. A lot of times you get to the state championship game and you see one of the teams has a gimmick. They're a team that got there because they spread it out and throw it all around and dance and do all that. But rarely do you see 2 of these power running teams collide. So it should be a fun day.
Dropping back is Schindler. Schindler out in the flat to Hying. Hying pulls it in, but no gain. Great job defensively by Exeter-Milligan. Droyna was there. We talked with head coach Carly Wells of Elgin Public Pope John about his outstanding quarterback, Ross Schindler. Technical difficulties. We will get back to Carly, but you saw Blake Anderson up the middle. Good carry on 2nd down. That'll bring up 3rd and short. Make it 3rd and 2 now for Elgin Public Pope John. Inside 3:30 to go here in quarter number 1. Hying in there at a running back. They'll give though to Anderson. Anderson, plenty of room. Slips through 1 tackle and got a shoestring tackle inside the Timberwolves territory down to about the 38-yard line.
Well, the first guy to hit him was the guy in stripes. Slowed him down just a little bit.
That was the tackle, right?
And then I think that allowed him to catch up and just barely get a shoestring. He might have been gone. Sometimes you can use that official in a good way. That time got in the way a little bit.
The receivers like to use the official as a pick every once in a while. I've seen that happen.
19 yards on the carry. Schindler bottled up. Good tackle there. Blake Papik in there again. Papik very active early. I think we have Carly Wells back now. Carly's talking about his senior quarterback, Ross Schindler.
Ross, he's a great kid. Great team leader for us. Runs the option well, play action pass. It's his 2nd year. Last year, him and another kid split time, and then by the end of the playoffs, he really just took over, and this year he just stepped in right where he left off last year.
Where he left off was 1,000 113 yards on the ground is give to Anderson again, and Anderson having success on the inside, guys.
Well, that was a great read. Go to the left side. We've seen him go to the right more here in the first quarter, but that a good read off to the left side, got a good down block and a good gain.
You know, Blake, he's listed as a fullback, but he's the number 2 rusher on this team. He's averaging a little over 6 yards per carry. He's a reliable guy, the senior out there playing hard.
Anderson again, and that time piled up by that interior defensive line. Papik is there again, along with Derek Luzum leading the way. That'll bring up 4th down now, 4th and 3.
What do you do here, Matt? This is go for it territory, ain't it? You gonna give another pep talk?
I don't know if I want to predict again.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think this would be go time.
You're over.
But
I say
I think they go for it.
Yeah.
And I'd run it. You know, I'd run the option and let your quarterback make a play for you.
Ross Schindler under center. They will go. 4th down and 3.
Oh, movement, right guard.
That will back them up 5 yards. A little bit different situation now for the Wolfpack. 4th down and 8 coming up.
Offense, still 4.
Now what? This is a little bit different of a game here. I think they punt this one away, play a little field position game. You know, Exeter hasn't driven down the field too much, but it's still important to maintain that field position, especially early in the first quarter.
Nick Heitoff, number 10, is their punter, and he's splitting wide right. So it looks like they will go on 4th down and 8. Dropping back to throw. Schindler under pressure. Gets off the screen to Anderson. Tripped up from behind. One more time. A very active first quarter of play for Blake Papik.
Blake Papik, he's a playmaker. He's a senior. He's put it all out there. 113 tackles coming into this game. He forces fumbles. He makes plays. And look at the speed here. That's a big boy moving to catch that running back. Blake Papik, 6 foot, 225. That's one of the biggest players on the field today, and he just caught the running back on a huge 4th down stop.
So the Wolfpack turn it over on downs, and now the Timberwolves will take over. Sluka under center. Sluka was right. Made him about 5 yards on 1st down for James Sluka.
You can see Sluka, he's pretty athletic quarterback. You know, I think you look at him as a backup coming in. They moved him over from the running back spot into the quarterback spot, and he's doing a pretty good job of controlling this offense so far. He's quick, very quick first step, and he's following that right side of the line, who, once again, Blake Papik here in the way.
2nd down and 6. They'll call it a gain of 4. Might have been encroachment. We'll see.
I think it will. 5 yards would make it awfully close to a 1st down, probably just short.
The defense backing up. And they will step this off against Elgin Public Pope John, the Wolfpack. 2nd.
Encroachment on the defense. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
A little more manageable now. 2nd down and 1.
A lot of offenses that like to take a shot on 2nd and short. I don't think we'll see that.
Give. Jensen with the carry. Jensen inside the 30 down to the 27-yard line.
You know, Jensen, he's got the making. He's got the physical attributes to be kind of a prospect on the line. If he can keep picking up the yardage like he has so far, he's probably going to hit the 1,000-yard mark on the year as a sophomore. So you think he could be a record-setting running back here for Exeter-Milligan as he grows. And not a bad first quarter for both teams.
So the first quarter is in the books. It is Elgin Public Pope John on top. 8-0 on the strength of a 55-yard run. 2nd quarter coming your way.
Healthcare reform is bringing change.
But one thing that won't change is our commitment to you.
We're Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska.
And you can count on us.
You can count on us to be there when you need us.
Animal agriculture is vital to Nebraska. Livestock production not only contributes to our food supply, but also helps our rural communities. Livestock provides revenue for schools, creates jobs, supports Main Street, and enhances the future for farm families. The Nebraska Soybean Board's Animal Agriculture Initiative works to encourage growth of responsible livestock enterprises to benefit agriculture and Nebraska.
This is NET Television. More channels and more choices.
NET sports coverage of the 2012 NSAA Football Championships are brought to you in part by the Nebraska Public Power District, applauding the dedication, teamwork, and sportsmanship of Nebraska's high school athletes. By the Nebraska Soybean Board, encouraging the use of renewable biodiesel fuels for a healthier environment. For information, nebraskasoybeans.org. By Time Warner Cable, inspiring young people to build the skills they need in science, technology, engineering, and math to become the problem solvers of tomorrow. And by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, reminding you that a concussion is a brain injury. For information, go to dhhs.ne.gov/concussions. Back at Memorial Stadium, Class D1 state championship game. Let's go down to the field to John Bishop.
Well, guys, as Exeter-Milligan continues on this drive to try to even things up here in this first half, you were mentioning Kyle Jensen at the end of that first quarter. Keep in mind, his carries have had to go up here as of late due to the fact that Sluka has now moved from running back to quarterback. So essentially what you have right now are two running backs in the backfield for Exeter-Milligan.
Sluka out of the shotgun, hits Luzum. Luzum with a nice gain. Very quick slant.
Well, Sluka's not a bad quarterback himself. He's throwing 57% completion percentage on the year. Exeter-Milligan, they only average, about 79 yards passing per game. So they don't rely on the pass too much, but when needed, he can get it out there.
That was a good throw. Not an easy throw on a guy coming at that angle towards the line of scrimmage.
Give to Jensen, who falls forward for a couple of yards. Before the game, we talked to Dean Philippi about his starting quarterback, James Sluka.
He became our starter the last regular season game. Nolan got hurt, broke his hand in that game, so he's been the starter since then. He's fairly quick, so we do a little more options. We like to utilize his speed, and so far it's been working.
Led him all the way to the state championship game through the playoffs, did James Sluka. Robbie Androida, the fullback. Kyle Jensen slips one tackle, does Sluka. And then he's buried under. Great pursuit by Elgin Pope John. Drops him for a loss. That'll bring up fourth down.
That was the pursuit you were talking about. That's what made that play. First guy kind of slowed Sluka down, but wasn't able to get him to the ground. You want to have every hat running towards the football. That's what they got there from Elgin Public Pope John.
So from the 21, fourth down and 5. The Timberwolves will go for it. Sluka rolling to his right. Hits Luzum. Luzum gets 2 feet in and a first down. Good grab by Derek Luzum.
Good patience here from Sluka, rolling to the right side. Easier throw for a right-handed quarterback. And he threw it really in a great spot for Luzum to be able to just catch it right by the sideline and get a first down, move the sticks. Big fourth down conversion there.
All now at the 13-yard line for the Timberwolves. Trailing 8-0 here in the second quarter. And Sluka with the keeper, has some room on the outside. Sluka looking for the corner, pushed out of bounds at about the 2-yard line. Good carry by James Sluka.
Well, that's quarterback on quarterback. Ross Schindler in the back. He sees Sluka sneak out, and he's the last one to stop this one. I'm telling you, Sluka's got some speed. If he gets to the edge, he's going to get some yards, and he showed it there. Really close to a touchdown here, 2 yards, and Exeter-Milligan can say they're on the board.
Just heard Coach Dean Philippi talking about the speed of his quarterback, and There it is on display. So that'll bring up first and goal from the 2. The give and the touchdown to Kyle Jensen. Kyle Jensen pounds it in there behind Papik. And the Timberwolves are on the board.
Jensen that's his 17th touchdown on the year. And they went down the field pretty quick there.
So they'll go for 2 here. Flag on the play. We'll see what the call is. So that'll back them up 5 yards. Here's a look at the scoring drive. You saw 8 plays. 46 yards and 2:57. Time chewed up by that Timberwolves offense.
Makes this 2-point conversion a lot more difficult.
Yeah, it does. This thinks you might go to the air here. Matt, what do you say? Well, they don't look like they're putting one out at receiver.
I would roll him out to the right side. We'll bootleg.
And Sluka gives up the middle. Pounding down near the 1 is Androina, and Androina stopped short. So the 2-point conversion, no good, and Elgin Public Pope John on top 8-6.
Those are the little things that Exeter-Milligan is going to remember if this game does not turn out the way they want to. But that's a great touchdown, great drive. You're going to look for those 2 points on the scoreboard later today. But once again, Kyle Jensen, he's a playmaker. He's a playmaker on offense and on defense. Young kid, good for him. You know, Coach Dean Filippi has to be very happy he's got this kid on the roster for a few more years.
Well, it's time now for NSAA Championship Trivia. Be the first person to email the correct answer to sports@netnebraska.org, and you'll win a Big Red Wrap-Up t-shirt, size XL, and the Wrap-Up logo mug. So our trivia question is, who holds the NSAA D1 playoff record for most touchdown catches in a game? First correct email to sports@netnebraska.org will win the Big Red Wrap-Up t-shirt, a logo mug, and remember, only 1 winner per household during the 2012 championships. So that eliminates 1 person who won this week. Everybody else is eligible.
There you go. I might submit an answer.
I would be impressed if you got this right.
I'm not going to attempt.
You know, that 2-point conversion reminds me of a play we were in high school. We had about 8 yards to go, and a coach said, hey, you get 5 yards in this play every time. We got 5 yards.
That's
we just needed 8.
Thanks, Coach. Pelster with the return. He's got some room back out to the 20, out the 21-yard line for Alex Pelster on the return.
You know, to that point, though, neither of these teams are used to getting stopped. They've got, like, almost everyone on the team averages over 5 yards per carry. That's that is a fact for the Wolfpack, and that's a fact for the top 5 rushers for Exeter-Milligan. So they are a team that if they get the ball on the ground, they're usually going 5, 6, 7 yards every time.
Well, they're probably facing the team, each of them, that has the better athletes than they've seen all season. So they have better athletes on defense than they've seen. So you're right, it's just different for them to get stopped ever.
Kept by Schindler. Schindler, I think there was dual possession there for about 3 yards. Schindler finally kept it himself.
Put it in the belly of the fullback, then pulled it out right at the last second, Larry. Was able to get a nice gain of about 6.
That's risky. Sometimes that ball can pop out where the quarterback's got a firm grasp on it, so as a fullback. And they executed it well there.
2nd down and 5 after the gain of 5. Into Anderson. Pounds away inside. Anderson for about 6 or 7 and another first down.
That's Anderson's 7th carry on the day. And I'm telling you, he just gets it and he runs straight forward. He doesn't have much juking and jiving, doesn't need to. They're opening up big holes up front. You're going to look at this offensive line led by senior Trent Heffer right in the middle, number 85. And then you got Kyle Heitoff, Lee Bartak. This team is got some strong playmakers in the senior class.
Ball kept again by Schindler, and Schindler follows that offensive line out to midfield and Well, Blake, you mentioned the talent that they have up there in that offensive line. This is an entirely new offensive and defensive line from last year. They lost all their starters off of last year's title team.
Well, somebody was watching patiently in the halls, man. And that's a good thing. That's a good point to bring up, is when these teams have seen someone get to this game before and win before, you bet there's some phone calls this week saying, what should we expect on this stage? We're showing up today.
Ball loose, it's on the turf. And hopped on by the Timberwolves, recovered by number 21, Nolan White. And the big cast got the hand on it.
Big momentum shift there. Elgin Public, Pope John moving down the field. Bad exchange. Disrupted right there as he was trying to fake the ball to the fullback. The ball goes up in the air. And a big momentum shift for Exeter-Milligan.
Yeah, that was something we had just referenced and talked about, is how difficult it is when the fullback wants the ball, the quarterback wants the ball pops out sometimes.
Wolfpack coach Carly Wells said earlier this week this Exeter-Milligan team thrives on turnovers. They really take advantage of turnovers when they get them, and they force them frequently. So there's one turnover by the Wolfpack. Good stop there defensively by the Wolfpack, and their middle linebacker Kyle Hightoff.
You know, Exeter goes to a running play there. A lot of times you see a team, especially in the state championship, right after getting a big turnover like that, they go deep. It looks like they're lining up for a pass here.
Sluka in the shotgun. Jensen stays back to help protect. Sluka goes across the middle, nearly intercepted right into the hands of Hightoff and out.
Well, they had it covered. They faked the little bubble screen to the outside to the left and looked for the wheel route. The safety was there covering that play. Nowhere to go with it. And one rule for a quarterback is don't throw it down the middle late. That's what happened there. Should have been a pick.
Kyle Hightoff has no interceptions on the year, but his Hightoff counterparts, Andrew, has 3 picks on the year.
3rd down and 7 to give up the middle, and he's stopped by the middle of that line. Trent Hofer in there leading the way, 88 tackles on the year.
So the big turnover forced by Exeter-Milligan turns into just 4 yards and a 4th down. Look like they're going to come out in punt formation, try and play a little field control.
Heffer and Hightoff both on the stop. So in to punt it away is Robbie Androina. Androina scoops it up, and Pooch punts it down inside the 10, lets it roll inside the 5. Terrific kick by Robbie Androina down to about the 2-yard line.
Exactly how he wanted to play it. Put a low squib and let it roll down to the 2.5-yard line.
I want to remind you, you can go to our NET Sports Facebook page right now, and if you send us your comment, your post that you post on Facebook could be seen live on the air. Log on to facebook.com/NET Sports and join in on the NET Sports telecast. So now that I've said that, expect momentarily a Facebook post from one Matt Davison.
I'll put it up there. Put my Facebook post on the broadcast, and then I'll buy the DVD.
There you go.
And then I'll have it forever.
You've got it.
Memories.
Got it all.
Memories.
You just covered 4 promos in 1 mention. Great job.
That is talent. That is talent.
Not my first state final.
So 1st down and 10, 2nd quarter, 8-6 game. Wolfpack with the lead and the ball.
You know, you got to look out for Ross Schindler. Ross Schindler got hot early. 1 run, 55-yard touchdown earlier. When you get backed up like that, a confident senior quarterback, he may not even be reading these read options and saying, hey, I just want to get my hands on the ball and see how far I can go this time. Great job by Exeter to stop that quarterback read option.
Gain of 2 there, 2nd down and 8. Give to Anderson up the middle. Another short game. We'll bring up 3rd down at about 6.
This would be a big stop for Exeter-Milligan. Get a stop, make them punt it out of their own end zone. Should have tremendous field position getting it back.
Good play there by Dustin Axline, the sophomore.
You say you go for a blitz here, put a little pressure on him, or you think this is the time you play conservative? Looks like there's a passing formation used by the Wolfpack right now.
Hying and Hightoff both split wide. Anderson motions out. And a keep by Schindler goes nowhere. Didn't fool them defensively.
They just clean the backfield out, try to spread everybody horizontally across the field and run the quarterback up the middle, but a great job staying home by the defense and making the play.
You see that, the defensive tackle, Blake Popik, he had a guy right in his face, and he just reached around and said, "You're going nowhere."
Two linebackers got to clean it up, but underneath it was Popik, who had a handful of jersey, not letting him go anywhere. Good punt to be fielded at midfield and stopped immediately for no gain. A good play by Peter Starman there defensively. Stopped Sluka on the return.
Peters, he's a backup tight end for this Wolfpack offense, but you love to see in the state championship game guys like that getting in on special teams, making a play. You'll remember that one.
These are always big memories for these kids. You know, they get to play in Memorial Stadium for most of them once.
Right.
Some of these guys that are lucky enough to make the finals a couple of times get it twice, but you know, they want to make the most of each snap they get.
Here's Jensen trying to kick it to the outside. Nowhere to go. Shut by Nick Hightoff.
This is a disciplined Elgin Public Pope John defense. No one getting to the edge on this defense, and all year they've done it. They've only allowed, on average, 100 yards rushing per game. In total, their defense only gives up an average of 153 yards a game. So this is a very disciplined defense you're seeing today.
Second down and 10. Keeper by Sluka. Runs away from one tackler, throws back across the field. Complete to Androina, and Androina battles through one tackle. And down on the field after the play is James Sluka, back at the 35-yard line.
Larry, he took a shot right in the grill. Was able to outrun the first defender, stuck in there to get the ball away, but then took a shot. It's going to be a first down, but he's going to have to come out of the game at least for a play. We hope he's okay. He took a big hit.
Let's go down on the field to John Bishop. John.
Well, not only that, but it was his counterpart, Ross Schindler, the defensive back / quarterback for the Wolfpack, who also came up a little bit dinged. Now, he's still out there on the field right now and walking around, but he was shaking some things off as well. So that hit took their toll on both the hitter and the hittee.
Sluka is up now and walking to the sideline.
So who's in at quarterback now?
Right.
Kyle Jensen looks like he's taking snaps over here. Kyle Jensen, he's a running back. This is not unfamiliar for Exeter-Milligan. Just throw the next running back in there at quarterback, but this is going to limit their offense if Sluka's not able to get back out there.
So Axline will now be a running back as Jensen moves up to quarterback. Jesse Hall coming back into the game as well. There's a look at Sluka. Seems to shaking it off.
Now you're just worried about the center quarterback exchange.
Jensen under center. Jensen will keep it himself. He's got a room. Jensen inside the 20 down to about the 19, maybe. I'll call it the 20. So enough. About a yard short of a first down, about 9 yards.
Nice burst there from Jensen around the left side. Gets a nice kick out block. He's able to get about 9 yards on that play. Good design, and Droina out there with the block.
So back in now is Sluka. James Sluka back in at quarterback. Jensen now back to running back. Give it up the middle to Androina, who's piled up right near the marker. About the 29-yard line.
I have to bring out the sticks for this one.
And they will measure.
This is a fast-moving game here, Larry.
Not a ground game, a little different than the morning game.
Yeah, there's a lot.
They're throwing it all over, right?
Yeah, that's right. This is going to be a fast one, so it's a momentum game when it's going this fast.
And they stretch it out. And enough for the first down by about 2 inches. So got the right-footed spot. And enough for a first. So first down and 10 now. Ball at the 19 for the Timberwolves. Trailing by 2, 8-6. This possession off of that turnover. Sluka now back to throw. Under pressure, and Sluka buried again. And once again, Nick Heitoff is there.
And we try to go to the air, catch him off guard a little bit, but the defense did a good job staying home in the pass. Good coverage down the field, ended up in a sack. So now playing behind the chains, not what either one of these offenses want to do.
Second down and 15. The toss to Jensen, and Jensen inside the 20 to about the 19. That'll bring up third down and long.
Trent Holfer, he is a long guy. Look at him, he's 6'4", 180 pounds. He's got a wingspan that means he doesn't have to get in direct position to make every tackle. Shown there, reaches out, drags down Jensen, brings up third and 10.
Third down and 10 for the Timberwolves. Sluka to pass, looking for the screen, now under pressure. Gets rid of it, and incomplete. Dangerous pass late to Androina.
Well, Kyle Heitoff, one of the Heitoff boys, playing defense there. He's an inside linebacker, 6', 185, one of the biggest Heitoffs. But watch him right here. Great job by Sluka to avoid, but man, that's not what you like to do as a quarterback, is it? Laid across the middle.
He avoided taking the huge sack, but yeah, that was very dangerous. Look at this formation.
Fourth down and 10, and they'll go. Back to passes Sluka, pressured again. Sluka gets rid of it, and incomplete. Would have been just shy of the first down had he caught it. So terrific defense by Elgin Public Pope John.
You know, on these pass plays that Exeter-Milligan's going to, Matt, I want you to take a look at the way the receivers are running. It's usually opposite the way the quarterback's running. So I don't know if either the quarterback is miscommunicating about where his rollout should be, or the receivers are running a route combination that doesn't work on the type of pressure they're seeing. But this is a difficult offense to run if you're running one way and the receivers are on the other.
Yeah, that was going to be a difficult throw going to a guy across the field. I think the defense forcing him out of the pocket has something to do with it.
About 2 minutes to go before halftime. The toss to Austin Hying, and Hying picks up 5 on first down and out of bounds. We'll bring up second down and 5. It was very potent Wolfpack offense. Look at Carly Wells.
Big boy himself.
Won a state championship at Broken Bow back in 1987. That's when you played high school ball. Rolling to the right, and a keeper is Schindler. Ball's out. Ball was stripped. Also a flag on the play as well. So we'll see who came away with it. You can see the big cast of Nolan White, and they're still fighting for it.
Might be clubbing in there.
And they will go to the Timberwolves. So the turnover, let's check on the flag.
Could have been a face mask or a hold down the field right at the end of the play.
I was thinking it was going to be a hold out here on the edge.
So a hold, and the turnover would stand, and it will. Decline. First down, Timberwolves in Wolfpack territory. Second turnover for the Wolfpack.
Boy, that's Jensen again, guys. I'm telling you that he's a playmaker. He's a playmaker, and that's not the first time on the year. He's got 4 fumble recoveries himself, 8 interceptions from that safety spot. So he comes down, gets the club out, knocks the ball out. Schindler, 2 fumbles on the day, not the way he wants to start this first half.
Jensen just put his hand right on the ball there and knocked it out.
They'll spread it out here on 1st and 10 from the 37. Sluka fakes the give and follows the block. Out of bounds at the 35, a gain of 2 yards.
This offense now trying to spread Elgin, Pope, John Paul out.
That was good. It was close.
I don't think I said that one exactly. But they're trying to spread them across the field and give big running areas instead of bringing everybody in tight. At least that's what we've seen 3 of the last 4 plays on offense from Exeter-Milligan.
Official timeout, equipment timeout, as they were trying to get the pad back in the jersey. Trent Hofer.
You know, Garrett Pribble, he's got a tough job right here on the left guard side. He's going right up against that tall Trent Hofer. Watch how he does here.
Toss outside to Jensen. Jensen with a lane. Spun around and down, and Jensen near a first down. A gain of about 8 on 2nd down and 8.
It's going to be close.
Another right or left foot spot, right? And they will measure again.
What I love about this, Matt, is there's a lot of speed. When you look at an 8-man team, they're mostly just athletes. They're athletes of all sizes, all shapes, but they're fast. And sometimes it looks like Jensen's going to get the edge, and then someone's flying up from the inside just to make the tackle.
Definitely a speed game, especially when you're running toss sweeps. And I think they're, just short. So that'll force 3rd down and short. 1:29 to go. Both teams still have all 3 timeouts. So Exeter-Milligan has 3 timeouts. If they're able to get a first down here, should have still plenty of time to go down and try to get points here in the end of the 2nd quarter.
The crowd's rocking down there.
That's different.
You know what? I want to see a battle of the Wolves. We got 2 Wolf mascots, so hopefully we get a shot of them squaring off. But this is a battle on the field right now. 3rd and inches.
For the Wolfpack, Sluka. Toss outside to Jensen, and Jensen buried underneath by that Wolfpack defense, led once again by Nick Hightoff.
Hightoff did a great job getting into the backfield, getting an arm out, getting help from a teammate, and now 4th and 2 as we're going to go under a minute before this next snap goes off.
So 4th down and 2, and they will go. Sluka under center. Gives to Jensen, who has room, and Jensen busts through the opening for a first down inside the 25-yard line, down to the 23. So now Exeter-Milligan will go in hurry-up mode as they wind the clock.
Not going to use a timeout, it doesn't appear. Clock starts now.
Still 3 timeouts for both teams.
Yes. We're going to move them back.
Snap confusion. We'll back them up 5 yards.
I was just going to compliment Exeter-Milligan on the play before. On
procedure. Offense. 5 yards. Still first down.
Staying disciplined on those long snap counts. That pushes them back. So you're going to think pass here, right? 35 seconds left in the half. You got 3 timeouts, so you can go to the ground game, but you got to make up about, what we got here, 28 yards.
Ball on the 28-yard line. So that would be about 28 yards.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Back to pass goes Sluka. Puts Jensen out of the backfield. Jensen stays on his, steps on the line. So out of bounds at about the 31, make it 21.
He meant to step out of bounds, right?
Right.
Stop the
Yeah,
clock.
I was going to tell him to go out of bounds. If I could have been in his ear, I'd have said, go out of bounds. So he stepped out of bounds, 16 seconds. They still have all 3 of those timeouts. And now you're thinking, go to the air, give a guy a chance to make a play.
Derek Luzum has been a go-to target all year for this Exeter-Milligan offense. 6 foot, 280 pounds, and he's spread out here on the bottom side of the screen.
Sluka over the middle into the end zone. He's got a man wide open in the back of the end zone. Touchdown! Jensen with the grab at the back of the end zone with 9 seconds on the clock.
Wow, what a pass by Sluka. He sits back here, he's got all day. And Jensen sneaking out of the backfield, just wing it up there, man. Great catch by Jensen, getting his feet into the back of the end zone. Not a bad way to end the half for Exeter-Milligan's offense.
It's a monster play. At the end of the half, Jensen was lined up in the right tight end position and just ran right down the middle of the field, took it to the goal post. Sluka led him across the field for the score.
Now going for two, Sluka passes into the back of the end zone and caught. 2-point conversion by the fullback, Robbie Androina. 14-8 lead for the Timberwolves. 14 unanswered points.
You look at Sluka there, man. He took a big lick early in the second quarter, went to the sidelines, sat out a play, came back in, and leads the team to a late first half touchdown, which puts him up by 6, which is going to be a big difference as the second half begins.
Just a monster momentum shift.
Yeah, it's the turnovers. There's been some turnovers on the field. You know, this offense of the Wolfpack, they haven't been forced into many turnover situations, but they're coughing the ball up, and Exeter finally capitalized on it.
Sluka just kind of lobbed that one up over the top of the defense for the 2-point conversion. They had him in 2nd and 15 after the penalty. They get the quick completion to Jensen for 7. There's still only 16 seconds to go, and you think, boy, if we could just get into the half with an 8-6 lead, we'd feel pretty good after turning it over a couple of times. Instead, Sluka hits Jensen on the touchdown, and now all the momentum and all the excitement going into the locker room is with Exeter-Milligan. Unless they take this one back.
And Jordan squibs one right down the middle.
I was hoping for it. Just so you'd be right on that.
Out to about the 33, so 4 seconds left for the Wolfpack.
You know, I don't stay conservative here. If I'm the Wolfpack offense, I say let's get somebody out on the edge. Let's get a fast receiver, maybe a go-to guy, one of the high-top boys. Get him on the edge, throw it up deep. You got nothing to lose.
I know. I'll throw it to Zach Polk. He's 6'8". How about him?
So Schindler back on the last play of this first half. Over the middle.
Oh,
he caught it inside the 15, but incomplete. He called it.
You were right.
Zach Polk.
How about that?
Throw it up to that guy.
6'8", 200 pounds. Great first half. Very fast first half.
14-8, Timberwolves on top of the Wolfpack. It was Elgin Public Pope John taking the lead on that 55-yard touchdown run. But the Timberwolves score 14 unanswered. Let's go down to the field to John.
Well, Coach, it started off. Couldn't have started any better for you, but the end of the first half you could have done without, I'm sure.
Yeah, it started all right, but we're just self-inflicting ourselves wounds on ourselves. 2 fumbles, penalties, and that's killing our drives, and we just got to eliminate that. We got to take care of ourselves this second half and come out and get the job done.
You got Ross Free on that big run at the beginning of the game, but since then they've really bottled up this offense. What kind of changes do you expect you have to make?
You know, we're moving the ball, but you know, when you have penalties and when you turn the ball over, it slows down your offense. So we got to do that and then take care of a couple things on defense, and I think we'll be all right.
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, John. And we are at halftime. Exeter-Milligan, Elgin Public Pope John, and it's the Timberwolves over the Wolfpack. 14-8 at half.
Get involved in high school activities. For fall championship ticket information, visit the Nebraska School Activities Association's website.
We'd like to say we have the good life in our state, and for more than 40 years, Nebraska Public Power District has kept the good life running smoothly for Nebraskans. We are driven to go above and beyond with a spirit to provide reliable, affordable electricity with outstanding customer service each and every day. Because in the end, we want to make the good life better for all. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us.
A diesel-powered engine on a farm works hard and operates in a grueling environment. Soy biodiesel fuels stand up to the challenge of powering farm equipment, but are also renewable and environmentally responsible as well. The Nebraska Soybean Board is committed to encouraging the use of soy biodiesel to protect the environment and sustain Nebraska's agriculture. The Nebraska Soybean Checkoff, growing opportunity from the ground up. NET sports coverage of the 2012 NSAA Football Championships are brought to you in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska. We're here where you are, and we're working for you. By the Nebraska Public Power District, applauding the dedication, teamwork, and sportsmanship of Nebraska's high school athletes. By Education Quest Foundation, improving access to college through scholarships, grants, and college planning services. And by Nebraska Child Find and the Early Development Network of the Greater Omaha area. These programs provide resources to parents concerning developmental milestones not consistent with peers their age. Information available at 888-806-6287. And welcome back to Memorial Stadium. We are at halftime of the Class D1 state championship game. Exeter-Milligan, 14 unanswered points to take the lead, 14-8. Pleased to be joined by NSAA Assistant Director Ron Higdon, who's in charge of wrestling. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate that. So you've got some exciting. State wrestling is always exciting. You know, it's a great venue, great turnout, but you've got something new this year that is going to even add to that excitement.
Yeah. This is the inaugural year of our state dual championships that has come about over the last several years. They've been trying to get it in place and got passed 2 years ago, so this is our first season for it.
So state duels will mean that it's more team. I mean, individuals always compete as a team when they go down there for scores, but this is a team competing against another team.
Right. It's you would probably compare it to like a basketball tournament where the teams are bracketed. The whole team has to win to advance. Even though an individual loses in a duel, their team can still win and advance their team into the next round.
So we'll have some kids who maybe aren't able to make it to state, but would be able to play with their team at state duels.
Absolutely, and that's kind of the concept that you have. It's more of a team-oriented concept, and really a good dual team and a good tournament team are two totally separate things.
So why don't you walk me through the process of how you got this started?
Well, it wasn't me, but our membership across the state of Nebraska has been trying for years to get something like this concept passed. And they went through the legislative process and had all the member schools vote on it, and it actually passed by one vote for them to get the dual championships. And for this to be the first season, we're really excited for the wrestling community.
So this will start in 2013. Tell us when and where and kind of from a format perspective how it relates to what goes on now.
Okay, it is actually going to be the Saturday after the individual tournament. It'll be held at the University of Nebraska at Kearney at the Sports and Recreation Center there, and it's a great place to have it. It'll be a great crowd presence, and we're going to do it similar to the way we do the first 2 days of the individual tournament, where we'll have two classes in the morning sessions. They'll wrestle all the way through the championships. We'll have an award ceremony, and then we'll have the other two classes compete in the afternoon into the evening, and then have the awards after that.
Given your wrestling background, I would imagine this is something you're extremely excited about.
Oh yeah, it's very similar to the NCAA national duels, and we are familiar with it. We like it as a wrestling community, and I think that it's going to be a very popular thing for the wrestlers.
So walk me through who qualifies and what that qualifying process is like.
Okay, initially it's difficult to set some kind of precedent in place for them to qualify. So what we did was we had a dual championship committee selected from each class and each district in the state, and we came up with a qualifying criteria that's based on the district tournament, which they qualify for the individual. So the way that they qualify is the team champion in point-wise at the district tournament is the automatic qualifier. So there's your four, because there's 4 different districts. The next 4 for each class, because there's 8 schools in each class that qualify. The next 4 are selected on a wild card criteria based on total team points in the district tournament. You get an additional 10 points for each wrestler that you enter into the district tournament. And then you get 5 additional points for each state qualifier to add to the quality. And the reason that we did the 10-person minimum was for the duels. Our enemy for duels is going to be forfeits. So if you don't have somebody there, then they can't compete and your team can't be successful. So that's one of the ways that we address that, and I think it's going to be really a positive thing for Nebraska.
So at a high level, 8 teams will qualify per class. They'll go out to Kearney, and I would imagine you seed them, 1 plays 8, and so on.
They'll be seeded based on their points from the district tournament. Those wild card points will seed the team. So you'll have 1 through 8 seeded. You'll have the first round. If you lose in the first round as a team, the best that you can get is 5th. If you win in that first round, you'll go to the semifinals. The semifinal losers will go for 3rd and 4th. The semifinal winners will obviously be going for the championship.
That's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I think that it's going to actually, it'll probably build numbers and build spectators for the sport in state.
Ron, appreciate you joining us.
Thank you very much.
That's Ron Higdon talking about the new wrestling duels that will take place in 2013 for Nebraska high schools. We're at halftime of the Class D1 state championship. Exeter-Milligan, the Wolfpack, and the Timberwolves. And it's Exeter-Milligan leading 14-8.
You know, many years ago when I was about 8 years old, I got the opportunity to watch a box turtle behind my house lay her eggs. And watching that turtle go through all that effort, it just piqued my curiosity, and I wanted to learn more and read more. My entire job is science. I want children to get connected with science and utilize the technology and the engineering abilities, because each one of us has the ability to change the world.
To find out what you can do to inspire a young person, visit connectamillionminds.com.
Over the years, the Nebraska Chiropractic Physicians Association has supported many Nebraska athletes by helping them excel physically. But the mental game is just as important. That's why we're pleased to sponsor the NSAA Academic All-State Award Program, recognizing students and athletes who shine in the classroom and as leaders. We're proud to team up with these exceptional individuals. Together we can continue to make Nebraska a great place to live, learn, and play.
I know he's not talking yet, but I know what he wants.
Do you think she should be walking by now?
Oh, he'll grow out of it, won't he?
Delays in development can be tricky to spot, especially when you are so close to the ones you love. If you have concerns or just have questions about your child's development, the Early Development Network is here to help. The sooner you call, the sooner you can make a difference for your child. Call your local district or toll free for a free evaluation.
Power Drive electric car program gives high school students a hands-on way to apply studies, learn about electricity and energy efficiency, and develop skills that will benefit them throughout their lives. Nebraska Public Power District encourages students and teachers to get involved. Schools have the power to make it happen. For information on Power Drive, visit oppd.com or nppd.com.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, along with Blake Lawrence, Matt Davison, John Bishop is on the field. I'm Larry Putney. We are at halftime of the Class D1 state championship. Elgin Public Pope John took an 8-0 lead, but it's been 14 straight by the Timberwolves to give them a 14-8 lead here at halftime. Let's take a look at some highlights from that first half action. And this was the big play early. Rosh Schindler, 55 yards, guys.
You know, when this happened, it looked like Rosh Schindler was going to be running loose all day. But Exeter-Milligan had some response.
And both defenses really started playing well. That was a shoestring tackle that might have saved it from being even here at half. Now let's take a look at some highlights for the Timberwolves.
Sluka was able through the air to make some things happen. That's really what changed the game there in the second quarter. Used his legs there, but was able to escape a couple of times from a rush and make some plays down the field.
And that was the play that Sluka was popped on, went out for one play, came back into the game and tossed that touchdown.
That was everything he had in it. Now, Sluka's not a big guy, but he is running this offense very well. Not a lot of yards for Exeter-Milligan, but points. Those are the ones that matter, right, Matt?
That's right. And remember the last play of the first half, there were some yards that didn't really matter on the Hail Mary that came up short of the end zone, so that added to the yard total. Otherwise, it's much closer.
So there's a look at your halftime stats. When we come back, we'll talk with head coach Dean Philippi and also have the second half action. It's all coming your way from Memorial Stadium on NET.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
For others, it may have just been a summer job. But for me, it was training. Now I'm an Air Force pararescueman, and my job is to save lives. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
This is NET Television. More convenience, more channels, more choices.
Did you know that Nebraska teachers use NET documentaries and online content in the classroom to enhance history and literature curriculum? NET provides services that educate, entertain, and enlighten.
The Nebraska School Activities Association wishes to thank the following sponsors for their support of the NSAA Championships: U.S. Bank, Farmers Insurance, U.S. Cellular, the Nebraska Chiropractic Physicians Association, and the U.S. Air Force. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. We are at halftime of the D1 State Championship. Exeter-Milligan on top of Elgin Public. Pope John 14-8. 14 unanswered points by Exeter-Milligan has given them the lead. And Exeter-Milligan fans, great crowd here, great weather here this afternoon at Memorial Stadium.
Now that's leading both of these teams into a favorable position in the second half. Only 6 points is the difference right now, and both teams, they've had some great plays early on. They know what's working, they know what they need to work on in the second half. And there's just a lot of playmakers on both sides. This is state championship football. Great weather, football weather. Memorial Stadium is rocking. I'm ready to see the second half. These teams are beating each other pretty good in the first half.
Well, we talked about Exeter-Milligan entering state. Suffered through a very tough game in the semifinals. He ended up beating BDS, coming back from 14 points down, find themselves up here at half. This is uncharted territory for Elgin Pope John. The Wolfpack haven't trailed this year. In fact, they knocked off Loop City in the semis, making Arapahoe 42-6. Before that, beat Loop City 60-13, 42-6, 56-0. This is a team that's really dominated everyone they've played. John Bishop was with the coach. Let's go down to the field. John?
Well, Coach, I'll ask you the same thing I asked your counterpart. It wasn't a great start for you, but the end of the first half turned out well.
No, they got one quick on us there, and it's one of those deals. Happy with the guys so far. They kept after it after that big play and fought their way back into this game. So it's going to come down again. We're going to have to do a better job on their offense trying to stop them.
They're not used to being behind. It's only the second time this year they've ever trailed. Never trailed at halftime. What'd you tell your kids at halftime?
Just keep working on the little things that got us back in this game and things that we've got to do better to hopefully move the ball. Their defense right now is giving us a lot of fits, so hopefully we made some adjustments that'll work.
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you.
John Bishop referenced it. The only time they have trailed this year was 14-0 early on in the year against Creighton. They ended up leading that at halftime. So as John said, first time they've been behind at half this year.
Well, it's a big 2 quarters here for both of these teams. These kids are going to remember this game the rest of their lives. And one of them's going to walk out of here a champion, one of them's not. And it could come down to just 1 or 2 plays that somebody makes. It could be a breakdown defensively. It could be an outstanding play by one player with the football. And so there's a lot of nerves down there right now. You know, they want to bring home a state championship. It's been a long road for both of these teams to get here, and the last thing you want to do is get so close, and both of them feel like they're very close right now. Last thing you want to do is walk out of here with the backup runner-up trophy. Even though it's a great season, you get this close, you want to win the whole thing.
We are at halftime, 14-8, Timberwolves on top of the Wolfpack.
High school football is the heartbeat of communities across America. The game unifies and has had an enduring effect on the American society. Football coaches instill accountability, discipline, leadership, values, and a work ethic. High school football is a training ground for America's future. Support your team.
So Elgin Public at Pope John won the toss to start the game. They elected to take the football, so it will be Exeter-Milligan's choice. They will get the football here to start this second half with a 14-8 lead, and important that the Wolfpack turn that quickly if they want to stay in this.
You don't want to, sorry, Blake, they don't want to let them go up 2 scores. I mean, that's the main thing. You don't want to get down 2 scores in this one, and then you really feel pressure here in the second half. So their defense needs to come out and get a stop to start things in the third quarter.
You know, in these state championship games, when you're down by just a little bit, that locker room at halftime, I can imagine some seniors stepped up and said, hey, this is who we are. Some of us, we've been here before, talking about the Wolfpack offense and defense. They came in, won the state championship last year, and so they're looking at around and saying, hey, we know what it takes to win. We're only down by 6 points. We average 50 points a game, so I think they can go out and have the playmakers to get back on top, but it starts with the defense right here against Exeter-Milligan.
So ready to get underway in the second half. 14-8, Timberwolves on top of the Wolfpack. Taken by Exeter-Milligan. Turned out to about the 25-yard line by Jensen, Kyle Jensen. Make it to 26. First and 10, first series of the second half for Exeter-Milligan.
They had some success getting the ball to Jensen on the edges with the toss sweeps, but Sluka made some plays through the air as well. So there was a lot for the Wolfpack to look at halftime and say, okay, how are we going to slow these guys down?
Jensen back in there. Jensen gets the carry, bounces to the outside. Right there to greet him is number 19, Lee Bartak. Bartak second on the team in tackles with 107.
Yeah, Lee Bartak has been hard to get around on the outside here. Look at this. Jensen tries to bounce it, but look, that is, we talked about earlier, disciplined defense. That's the only way you get to the state championship game is if you make plays like that consistently. I think that the Wolfpack defense, they're ready to go this second half. That's a great play by Bartak.
Loss of 2 on the play, second down and 12. Jensen gets the call, and he stood up again. Shane Beckman from that nose tackle spot. Beckman, the 5'11 senior, with the tackle.
2 plays, backward, and now third down and 12. Nowhere for Jensen to go. There must have been miscommunication up front somehow, because there was not a hat on a hat, that's for sure.
2 plays, a loss of 3 yards, third down and 13. Sluka back to pass. Under pressure, Sluka slips by 1 tackle. And the rest of the pack is there to bring him down, led by Kyle Hightoff.
This is a long second half, and for Sluka to be running like that, kind of risking his health. He's not a very big guy in this defense for Elgin Public Pope John. They have a lot of big guys that want to corral that quarterback, get him down. Not a bad idea to scramble there, try to get some yardage, but he got corralled pretty easily.
To win the punt is Robbie Androida. Bounce back, Androida scoops it up. Gets it away. It's a good bounce for the Wolfpack, and they'll have good field position to start this second half.
Just an 18-yard punt there. So exactly the start that they were looking for. The Wolfpack with great field position, a chance to go down and tie it with a touchdown, have a chance to take the lead with a 2-point conversion.
They don't go to the air very often here, so I expect it to be a lot of run game just to come out, get some momentum going with the run game for the Wolfpack.
So Schindler, the toss outside to Hying. A couple blockers out in front. Slips by one tackle. Lunges forward into Timberwolves territory. Nice gain on first down for Hying.
Hying had really good patience there, going towards the sideline on the right side, waited for his blockers to just give him a little bit of a seam, and then he was able to squirt up the sideline and get a nice gain on first down.
Nolan White on the tackle. Guys, he came into the game with 139 tackles on the year. He's leading this defense, and they need it right now.
Second down and short. Schindler keeps it. Step on. Schindler to the outside. Schindler finally driven out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Good carry by Ross Schindler.
He comes up limping just a little bit. I think he's going to be okay. Got drugged down by an ankle right at the end of the play. But a good push on the left side of that offensive line. And that's as big a hole as we've seen for Schindler since his touchdown run early in the first quarter.
What did you call that play with the quarterback sweep? And
we called it a 34 power where he had two running backs lead the way, and if you have backs that can block for you, it's a very effective play.
Give to Anderson. Inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. There's Blake Anderson.
Anderson started off the game with quite a few carries, and it's easy to call his number. He's so reliable for this team. He's a senior fullback, 5'10", 160, and he just works at 6.3 yards per carry coming into the day.
Second down and 5, Anderson and Hying in the backfield. Look at Anderson and Kirkland. Give to Anderson, and Anderson powers through into the end zone for the touchdown. Wolfpack take the opening drive of their half and drive for 6.
Oh, reliable. I just made up a nickname, Matt Davison. I think that one might stick. Look at it. Just let him go.
First man through, quick hitter. Get to the second level, and you pretty much, in 8-man football, have one guy to deal with. When you get to that second level, the safety was a little late getting there. And a tie football game now, and a big 2-point conversion.
Going for 2. Schindler keeps it, has a wide open field in front, and walks in for the 2-point conversion.
You know, John Bishop didn't ask Carly Wells coming out at halftime what he said at halftime to his team, but I bet it was something like this. Big stop, drive down the field, score on our first possession on offense, and that's exactly what they did, get back in the game.
Schindler walks in. They collapsed on Anderson. He's had so much success carrying, even in just the 2 or 3 carries he had in the second half. Opens the door for Schindler to walk in, and they lead at 16-14. Big opening drive for the Wolfpack. Hey, be sure to be with us tonight at 7 o'clock. The Class A state championship game coming on as Millard North takes on Omaha North for the Class A title. We have complete coverage of all the 2012 football championships right here on NET, Nebraska's home for sports.
Millard North throwing it all over the yard, I would guess.
As always, Matt, yeah, as always.
Petito's always throwing the ball.
They do have a special quarterback in Ockery.
Really good player. I'm excited to see that game tonight. Should be a good crowd here in Memorial Stadium, good weather, so hopefully a lot of people come out to see that game.
So early on here in quarter number 3, second half just underway. Each team has had one possession. And Elgin Public Pope John on its possession drives the length of the field and takes the lead 16-14. Andrew Heitoff now to kick off. Jensen and Sluka back deep for Exeter-Milligan. Into the end zone for the touchback. So the Timberwolves will take over at their own 15-yard line, now trailing after scoring 14 unanswered in the first half to lead at 14-8. Played for the first time since the first quarter.
They need to put together a drive here, at least get a couple of first downs. try to take away some of this momentum that the Wolfpack have been able to accomplish here.
That is 3 straight rushing plays that have gone backwards for Exeter-Milligan. That's a great adjustment at halftime of the Wolfpack defense. Coach Carly Wells, he's got it dialed up. He wants to make sure that this team doesn't sneak out and get back on top.
Exeter-Milligan had some success in the second quarter, spreading the defense across the field, going with a wider formation. I haven't seen that yet here in the third quarter.
Sluka under center. He will keep it under pressure. Slips one tackle, gets to the outside. Finally brought down at the 20-yard line.
He's slippery. He is. He's done a good job. He's just out there working his tail off. Like I said, you got to stay healthy here in the third quarter. A lot of time left to play, but rolling out, making plays. 3rd and 5 for Exeter-Milligan.
Sluka in there at quarterback, and Jordan the fullback. Jensen to his right. He'll give to Jensen. And Jensen hit in the backfield. And once again, it's Trent Hofer with the tackle. Not much there for the Timberwolves.
Nowhere for Jensen to go. Run a little counter back to the left side. Hofer stayed home and was able to make the one-on-one tackle. And a punt coming up for Exeter-Milligan. Right now, got to think Elgin Public is really feeling good about things.
And Troida, the snap bobbled, ball's on the ground, rolling in the end zone. Recover to the end zone for touchdown. Touchdown for the Wolfpack.
Wow.
And I believe it was Austin Hying falling on the ball.
There's been some low snaps on the day for Exeter-Milligan. That's another low snap, gets by the punter, and oh, that's just the worst feeling to see as a coach, as a player, because there's not much you can do about it, but
disaster. That's what it is in a state final game, to have a special teams play give a touchdown to the opposing team. Awfully difficult. Now a big 2-point conversion here. Exeter-Milligan needs to stop them.
And pounding in there and across the line, Schindler for 2, and they've taken a 10-point advantage at 24-14.
Very quick turn of events here for Exeter-Milligan, coming out with the lead, and now they're looking at a deficit of 10 points. That's 2 touchdowns that are needed to get back on top. Not looking like a good start in the third quarter for Exeter-Milligan, but a good start for the Wolfpack. If you say, hey, sometimes you need a little bit of luck to win a state championship, Wolfpack got their luck right there.
We talked about it earlier that neither of these teams punted very much all season long, and so the deep snapper hasn't been in this situation much, and especially in a state championship scenario, a lot more nerves involved. We've seen some low snaps throughout the day, but they've been able to get it off. That one was able to get by the punter and ended up in disaster time for Exeter-Milligan.
Well, Big Red Wrap-Up won't be seen at its regular time on Tuesday this week because of the NSAA Football Championship. So instead, the Wrap-Up can be seen on Wednesday night. Special guest Mike Babcock from Hale Varsity, along with Sean Callahan on Husker Recruiting. Plus, we'll look to Friday's game with the Iowa Hawkeyes. Join us for Big Red Wrap-Up this Wednesday at 7, right here on NET1 and NET HD. A huge play by the Wolfpack, jumping on the loose ball in the end zone off of the bad snap on the punt, special teams mistake. And now a 10-point lead for the Wolfpack. They trailed at half, 14-8. Kick goes out of bounds.
Where's that one placed?
Well, that's a great question. I think 25.
Moving back, they'd probably go out right there, wouldn't it?
They'll back him up and re-kick it.
Special teams. You know, sometimes these teams, they're up by so much they can have special team snafus, but when it's a close game, every snap counts, every kick counts, and you can never stress that enough. Because at the state championship level, both teams are going to challenge each other and capitalize on those mistakes. Just as Elgin Public Pope John just did.
So Andrew Hightop will re-kick from the 25 after the 5-yard penalty. It'll be taken by Jensen at the 2. Jensen fed at the 20-yard line, pushes out past to about the 23. The Timberwolves start their third possession of this second half from the 23-yard line. They need to find some answer for that Wolfpack defense, which has shut down every running play they've tried here in the second half.
This is huge. They have not gained positive yardage this third quarter in the run game.
Luka keeps it himself. Bartak is there. Bartek along with the nose guard Shane Beckman both on the stop.
What do you think about sneaking the running back out down the middle again, trying to go for a deep pass play, get some points, some yardage racked up here? Or do you think you stay on the ground game, which has not had much success in the second half?
They're going to have to make an adjustment somehow because the Wolfpack are on the attack up at the line of scrimmage right now.
Toss out. Jensen shut down in the corner, and again, they just continue to struggle to gain positive yardage. Nice play defensively by Blake Anderson.
That was a lateral, too. It went backwards, so
it makes you think they might be setting something up, Matt. That's what I got to say about that. I hope you're right.
I hope you're right. Let's see some trickery.
Spread them out.
Third down and 12 for Exeter-Milligan.
Keep an eye on Jensen out of the backfield.
Under pressure again. Fires out to Robbie Androida, and enough for a first down.
Good protection. Gave Sluka plenty of time to step up in the pocket. The ball took a little while getting there, but a huge completion there to move the sticks and keep this drive alive for Exeter-Milligan. They need a drive and points right here.
I tell you, Sluka comes into the game and he had 37 attempts on the year, and so far today he's thrown 10 times for this Exeter-Milligan offense, so they're throwing a lot more, but they're going to need to if they want to come back quick.
Sluka in the shotgun, drops back to throw again. Look downfield, wanted to go deep, nothing there, he'll pull it down. And run out of bounds for a short gain. They'll bring up second down and long. So Wolfpack defense continues. Very tough here in the second half.
I like spreading this offense out, though. Giving Sluka some time. He can run around a little bit. He can make a play, as he did there. Got something out of nothing. They just haven't been able to get anything in the running game so far here in the third quarter. It looks like the adjustments made by the Wolfpack really have worked.
Back to throw again. Rolls to his right, under pressure, goes across the middle, and caught down inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. The completion to Jensen.
Yeah, that's a good job. Sluka realizing the middle of the field is wide open. Now he's got to scramble. He's throwing on the run quite a bit today. But that is seeing Jensen open in the middle and just throwing it up and saying, go get it, big guy.
Big hole right there in the middle of the field. Jensen ran into it. Sluka was able to lob one up there for him to go get it.
21 yards on the gain. First and 10 from the 24 now. Wolfpack driving through the air. Looked like Luza might have been open there crossing, guys. There wasn't too many people around him.
I don't know if that one was dropped. It right across the middle of the field. Luzum was there. The official was standing right near the play. It looks like they've decided, hey, let's go to the air a little bit. Sluka has made some plays. If it's not there, he can tuck it and try to make a play with his legs.
This looks like more of a running formation here for Exeter.
Jensen stays in the block under pressure.
And That was way off.
Sluka misfires.
And again, he was forced out of the pocket to the right side, and the receiver ran back towards the middle of the field, so he had to throw it back across his body. That's a tough throw for any quarterback. Sluka hasn't been playing quarterback that long.
No,
be able to make a play like that.
And then that's what we mentioned it earlier, continuously. All game, they keep seeing this throw across your body type offense by Exeter.
3rd down and 10. Sluka back to throw again, under pressure again. Nearly picked off, just off the hands of Ross Schindler.
I thought he might have got pushed in the back.
A little early.
See it on the replay.
I think Davison would have gotten up and yelled for the flag. Look at that.
Push in the back. Couldn't see it from that angle there.
No, could have been clean.
Okay.
Schindler knows what he's doing.
I'm always asking for PI.
Those quarterbacks are always pretty good at sneaking in.
Uncatchable. Uncatchable?
Oh. Absolutely. So brings up 4th down and 10. Sluka in the shotgun on 4th down. Run the screen, nearly picked off, but it's caught by Jensen, and then they stop him. They had it set up, the defensive linemen were charging, and it was nearly thrown right to the Wolfpack.
Like Hofer had a chance to pick it off. He went up in the air to get it. Went off his fingertips. Jensen came up with it, but nowhere to go. So a pretty good drive from Exeter-Milligan, but no points. And they remain down 10 as the 3rd quarter continues to bleed away.
So inside 4 minutes here in the 3rd. 1st and 10 for Elgin Public Pope John. Schindler. Toss out to Hying. A nice gain on 1st down, not near the 30-yard line.
You know, this Exeter-Milligan defense hasn't been on the field much this quarter. You know, with the special teams turnover and touchdown for the Wolfpack, Exeter defense is probably fresh and ready to go. While we got a lot of players playing both ways for Elgin Public Pope John.
I don't know if anybody's fresh. I don't know how many guys go off.
I'm playing both ways. I'm just kidding.
2nd down and 5. After the gain of 5, give to Anderson. He pounds away inside. Picks up 4. That'll bring up 3rd down and 1.
What was his nickname?
Oh, reliable, I think is what you said.
That's right. Oh, reliable. And he's earning it.
Oh, reliable. That's like an old-time nickname. They just call him all day.
I'm kind of old, guys. Kind of experienced.
I'm like me.
3rd down and 1. Anderson again leans forward and enough for the 1st down. Out past the 35.
Man, I think you look back.
That could be. Depends on which day. Adrian, he'll come in later.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we're not touching that, are we, boy?
No, let that one go.
Come on. Big 8, he's a teddy bear.
Yes. 66 yards on the ground for Anderson on the afternoon. Schindler keeps it. Schindler finds a little room inside. Nice gain on 1st down by Ross Schindler. Flag on the play. Came in late.
They grab the helmet gear.
Gain of 7, and that's what it is. So after the gain of 7, that'll tack 5 more on.
The defense. Result added on to the end of the run. 1st down.
Ross Schindler, he carried some guys about 5 yards in this play. Look at this. He's got one right there, right on his back, and he keeps going. I think the scales might be broke out there at Elgin Public, Pope John. These guys all say that everyone's 160 on this team, but I'm telling you.
It's about what I was.
With ankle weights.
Right.
So 1st and 10 from the 33. Give to Anderson. Pops through the hole. Another nice gain on first down of about 5 yards. Bring up second down and 5. He has been a workhorse. 684 yards on the year, 15 touchdowns for the senior, Blake Anderson.
This game is starting to slip away from Exeter-Milligan. If they give up points here, it's going to be difficult in the fourth quarter. They have to get a stop on this drive.
That time he's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go for Anderson.
You know, one thing you got to look at in the first half is this Elgin Public Pope John team. They might say that the turnovers that were unforced just by handing it over to Exeter-Milligan is the reason they were down in the first half. This second half, they've taken control of the ball, and if they continue to do it, it looks like they've got the power to continue to move down the field and score on this Exeter-Milligan defense.
On third down, the give again to Anderson, and again he's piled up as we tick inside 1 minute to go here in this third quarter of play.
Punt or go for it on 4th and 3.
Given the way your defense has been playing, right?
It's just kind of no man's land. You're on the 27-yard line, 26-yard line. Probably going to go for it.
4th down and 3. Schindler with Anderson and Kirkman. Schindler keeps it himself, pulls back, looks for the hole, and enough for a first down. Ross Schindler on the carry.
Defining play in this game so far is a 4th down conversion to keep the drive alive. Exeter-Milligan on their toes, and they couldn't get the stop there. Ross Schindler once again showing up for his team. The senior just leading the way, hasn't had to do much through the air. Great third quarter for the Wolfpack, not so much for Exeter-Milligan right now.
So the Wolfpack will let the clock tick down, and the third quarter has come to an end in Lincoln. The Class D1 State Championship game. Exeter-Milligan, the Timberwolves, and Elgin Public Pope John, the Wolfpack, are on top after 3, 24-14 over the T-Wolves. America's export of soybeans helps the U.S. maintain a positive agricultural trade balance. Nebraska contributes half of its soybeans for export. The protein and oil content in soybeans enhance the growing demand for higher protein diets. The Nebraska Soybean Board promotes research to develop new soybean varieties with higher protein and oil content for major agricultural markets. The Nebraska Soybean Checkoff, growing opportunity from the ground up. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, Class D1 State Championship. It's Elgin Public Pope John on top of Exeter-Milligan after 3, 24-14, along with Blake Lawrence, Matt Davison. I'm Larry Putney. John Bishop joining us from the field. It was that big play, that big special teams play late that really gave control of this game to Elgin Public Pope John.
Well, we had seen some snaps that were low for Exeter-Milligan, and they had gotten away with it. That one they didn't, ended up in a touchdown the other way, and that was really the big momentum shift, made it a 2-score game. In this game, it's a huge lead, the way these defenses have been playing.
You know, the one thing we mentioned earlier was unforced turnovers. In the first half, there was 2 of them by the Elgin Public Pope John team, which led to some points for Exeter-Milligan. In the third quarter, an unforced turnover by Exeter-Milligan, leading to points for Elgin Public Pope John. So it's just a tale of 2 different halves for this team, Exeter-Milligan, right now.
Let's check out our trivia winner. We asked you a question a bit earlier, the Class D1 Championship trivia. The question was, who holds the NSAA D1 playoff record for most touchdown catches in a single game? Well, Cody Thomas of Lincoln, Nebraska knew that the answer was Blake Maskey. He caught 5 for Arapahoe back in 2005 against Elgin. So congratulations, Cody. We'll be sending you that coffee mug and t-shirt. Answering the trivia question correctly. So into the fourth quarter, we're underway 24-14. Wolfpack on top of the Timberwolves. Hying with the carry here on first down. Gets 2, brings up second down and 8. There's a look at that cast on the hand of former quarterback Nolan White.
Hard to throw with the cast in her hand, but he's doing a great job on defense this year, leading the team in tackles.
Give once again to Anderson, and Blake Anderson inside the 10. Good enough for a first down. So the Wolfpack driving and threatening to go up by 3 scores.
This is just a power run team, and this is where they are used to being this Elgin Public Pope John team. They know how to keep a lead and run the clock methodically, give it to the fullback, toss out to the right. They won't throw the ball for the rest of the game.
Schindler, the toss outside to Hying. He's got blockers in a room. Inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line for Austin Hying. Hying, a 5'11" senior.
They're starting to feel it now, Larry. They can get it into the end zone here. They're going to feel really good about their chances to bring home this state championship.
Tackle made by Robbie Androya from that linebacker spot. Second down and 4. The give to Anderson. The gain of 2 inside the 2. It'll bring up 3rd and goal.
Garrett Pribble, one of the Cass brothers, on the tackle there. This defensive line for Exeter-Milligan, they've done a decent job of containing the edge. But right now I can imagine that Elgin Public Pope John, they're going to go right up the middle here and try and just power it into the end zone. They only got 2 yards to go.
And 2 downs to do it.
They might take the field goal.
3rd down and 2 from the 2. In there for the touchdown goes Schindler.
You can feel it now, right?
So Ross Schindler follows his blockers. 2 yards to pay dirt. And the Wolfpack are in control.
They need to stop them here. Still 2 touchdown and 2 two-point conversions away at 16 points. They were allowed the 2-point conversion here. Big trouble.
Looking to make it a 3-possession game on the 2-point conversion. Give to Anderson, pounds his way in there. And the 2-point conversion is good, and it's 32-14. Elgin Public, Pope John in the lead.
Boy, I tell you, this is a game that's gone very quickly for the Exeter-Milligan defense. They've given up a few scores here in the second half very quickly. Their offense has not had the ball very often, but just a great job by the fullback here, Anderson.
Let's go down to the field to John Bishop. John.
Well, guys, as that drive was going with each and every play, the faces got longer and longer down here on the Exeter-Milligan sideline. A lot of guys with their arms folded, hands on hips. Really no answers for that, really for what has happened here in this second half. This is a team in dire need of a big momentum-changing play, and it needs to happen relatively quick.
Thanks, John. We certainly see it on the faces as well. Hey, Thursday on NET television, Nova looks inside the rise and the deadly impact of Hurricane Sandy, the largest Atlantic hurricane on record. Inside the megastorm takes viewers moment by moment through Hurricane Sandy, from those who survived and from the scientists. Watch Nova Inside the Megastorm Thursday night, 7 Central on NET1 and NET HD.
Devastating, wasn't it? That storm out there, all the tens of thousands of people, homes just devastated, their lives torn apart, nowhere to go, no power.
Many of those folks, just a week later, faced a nor'easter that came through. It was now many of those homes, up to 500 or more, just going to be bulldozed. Driving kick will be taken at about the 3-yard line. Here's Sluka on the return. Sluka hit hard. Big hit by number 38.
Blake Schrage. Golly, he comes down. Look at this. This is a big special teams play. We talked about that at the very beginning of the game. A lot of these players are backups, but when they get on special teams, they're going to make it known. Hey, Blake Schrage, he's a junior too, so he's coming back. He could lead this team next year. Hitting like that, get bumped up the depth chart a little bit.
So Sluka needs to make things happen now for Exeter-Milligan. Quick toss out to Jensen, who breaks one tackle and another. Jensen still on his feet, drives out past 28-29 near the 30-yard line, enough for 12 and a first down.
Now they need to go quickly, get over the ball, run a play, see if maybe the tempo of the offense could give problems to Elgin Public Pope John.
First down and 10 from the 30. Give to Androida, who kept his feet. Good gain by Androida. 36, 37-yard line. Second down and 4.
They're moving the ball a little bit. It needs to go very fast. There's 3 scores away from regaining the lead, which went away from Exeter-Milligan very quickly in the second half.
Luker keeps it himself. Short gain. Middle of that line. Beckman. Bartek in there on the stop.
Third down now, move the chains, try to go down the field. We've seen them spread things out a little bit at times and give Sluka a chance to wing it down the field. They're going to have to start to run plays like that at some point. It's nice to be able to run the ball and get first downs, but there is not enough time left in this thing with the way Elgin Public Pope John has been able to move the ball offensively.
Third down and 1. Quick toss outside. Jensen with a big gain of about 14 yards inside the 30 down to the 28.
Now there's a hint on this play that this play is going to the left. That is because Nolan White, big cast out there, is at receiver. So you assume he's going to be blocking, and that's a great execution on the swing pass play for a first down. Moving the ball. The clock is dwindling down, but as long as they keep moving it down, getting the chains, get the clock stopped, Exeter-Milligan, they got a shot.
Empty backfield for Sluka on 1st and 10. Sluka out to Jensen again.
That time they fake it on the quick one out to the flat and then throw it into the hole in front of the safety. Well-designed play there. If he breaks one tackle, he probably takes it to the end zone.
You know, the tackle on the play is Nick Heitoff. When we talk about the Heitoff family that's all on the field today, there's 4 of them. And I bet they played some backyard football games with the old pump and go. And Nick Heitoff, a senior, he probably created the play in the family, so he does a great job there.
There was a flag on the last play, illegal shift called, so that will wipe out the game.
Game clock to 8 minutes, 1 second.
The game clock has been reset. Look at Dean Philippi in his 14th season at Exeter-Milligan. First time they've been in the state championship game. First down at 16. Sluka looks downfield. Sluka, plenty of time. They'll pull it down.
Over the line of scrimmage now.
And he'll run it. Another flag on the field.
They'll pick that up, right? Unless it's a holding call. Because they might have thought he was going to throw it again, but he didn't.
Yeah, they thought he was going to let it go down the field, and it would have been an illegal forward pass at that point because he had gone past the line of scrimmage, but then he tucked it, so they'll just shove the flag in the pocket and move on.
So they were waving off the flag.
Disregard the penalty flag. There's no infraction on the play.
Where's that guy from?
He was a tremendous three-point bomber in basketball. Brian Nolte.
Yeah, this is another example of Sluka just trying to make plays happen. He's fighting hard today. He's taking some hits. But, once again, swing pass out to the right to Jensen.
Really just trying to get Jensen away from the traffic. Going to let him make a play.
There's been a smothering defense here in the second half for the Wolfpack. They've run to the ball well. Exeter-Milligan hasn't really been able to get much going. Their last drive was pretty good. They moved all the way down to about the 20-yard line, but then couldn't get anything going from there. Needed points desperately on that drive. Couldn't get it, and then gave up the touchdown drive the other direction. And this one not looking good at this point.
Sluka again out to Jensen, who will throw himself across the middle and pulled down and caught by Losing.
Big collision on the play. Amazing ground. Took a hit. Not a bad throw by Jensen.
He threw a bullet down there. Jensen is a rifle. Watch this thing. See?
Boy. He didn't have gloves on either. Davison, how do you know? How do these guys catch balls these days without gloves on?
That's a good question. I suggest wearing them. Protects your hands, and when it's a little bit chilly, it helps a lot.
So the first down completion makes it 1st and 10, and Jensen is stacked up by that interior defensive line. The linebackers supporting quickly. Nick Hightoff there along with Kyle Hightoff.
I don't know how guys drop passes anymore in college and pros anyway. All to stick them on those gloves. Stick one hand out.
Yep. Well, keeping it on the ground here is kind of an interesting take. They've been getting down the field with the passing game.
Inside 6 minutes as Sluka rolls to his right, throws to the end zone, and intercepted. Picked off by Ross Schindler.
Well, Sluka got picked off there, but he has been running for his life in the backfield, and he was under a lot of pressure that time as well.
This defensive line for the Wolfpack, Lee Bartak, Shane Beckman, Trent Holford, they're making their presence known. Now, Matt, here's what I'm going to tell you right now. On this play, I think this was it Jensen running down. Jensen throws his hand in the air. He's kind of getting that quarterback's attention. Hey, I'm open, I'm open. Well, sometimes those receivers aren't as open as they think they are. So Sluka tries to get it to him, and it just falls up a little short. Another turnover.
I was open on every play.
I'm sure you were.
I'd come back to the huddle and say, I was open.
Schindler a little dinged up. He took that hit earlier and was down. And they just now fell hard after the interception. Limping a bit out there. Carry up the middle by Anderson. Go down to the field to John Bishop. John.
Yeah, Larry, it was Schindler that took a pretty good shot. He was already hobbled, and then, of course, making the interception, he may have also come down wrong. It looks like it might be the right leg, but he walked off the field, kind of threw the gloves to the sideline, got his play call, and has come back in. But I would be surprised if he's carrying the mail at any point during this drive.
A gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. He carries it there, right out past the 25 to the 26 for a 1st down.
He's hurting a little bit, you can tell. The right leg, somehow, it's a knee or a knee with a thigh or something, but he's limping around. State title, though?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's not going out of the game.
No way. You want to feel it. You want to feel after the game that I put it all out there. I should have come out. I would have come out, but he wants to be out there with his senior teammates.
On the 26 now, 1st down and 10. The toss out to Hying. Good tackle, drug down from behind.
This is the time of the game. If you're Elgin Public, Pope John, you start to get some of the guys out there that have been on the field all game. They want to be able to tell everybody, especially the seniors, that they were on the field in the state championship game in 2012, which, barring any miracles, would be in the hands of Elgin Public Pope John just in about 4 minutes here.
There's Blake Papik. He's played a terrific game, made that last tackle as well. Gain of 2 on the play, so 2nd down and 8. They'll give it up the middle. Anderson one more time.
Third down and about 5. 4 yards maybe. One more first down and pretty much do it.
You know, for Exeter-Milligan, these seniors, they got to look around and realize they got this team as far as they've ever been in the state playoffs, to the state championship game at Memorial Stadium. Second half was not what they wanted to see, but they're out there fighting hard every last second.
So on 3rd and 4, they give to Anderson one more time, and Anderson out near midfield and enough for a first down. What a game he has had. Blake Anderson. 19 carries, 95 yards. And after that carry, he goes to 102. So he's over 100 yards for the game as Blake Anderson. Tick near 3 minutes here. Schindler keeps it.
And I've been very impressed with Schindler today, just his decision making. You know, a couple times the ball handling, you know, things happen. We saw a guy put a hat on a ball and came out. That happens when you carry the ball as much as Schindler does. But his decision making here to keep the ball, then put his right foot in the ground there and head back north. He's done a good job today, I think, just running this offense and doing a good job with the option game.
A couple of communities and schools in the same community, Elgin Public, Pope John, 3 years ago decided they would co-op and play football, and you've seen the theme at the bottom of your screen from fans from that city. 2 schools, 1 dream.
They're working together this year. They worked hard together last year. I say Carly Wells is looking at this team and saying, hey, why can't we go for 3 state championships in a row? They've got some good experience out there by the underclassmen. They see what it takes to win.
3rd down and 2. Anderson again and again, a first down.
And that's going to do it. We'll probably see a bunch of substitutions now and get a lot of different kids in there to be able to have Grandpa and Grandma, Mom and Dad, see them out on Memorial Stadium turf.
Yeah, I got a little trivia fact for you. Ross Schindler, who I'm going to say is MVP this game, is the cousin of Mr. Sean Callahan, who you will see every Tuesday night on Big Red Impact on NET. How about that?
There is some trivia.
Well, he runs a lot better than Sean.
Schindler with a good carry there down to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, they don't share the same gene pool. Sorry about that, Sean. Just keeping it real. The crowd is roaring now.
And ready for wholesale changes on the Wolfpack side is Coach Carly Wells.
This is a big moment for these seniors. They're going to remember coming off the field for the last time in Memorial Stadium. Some with heads high, some with heads hanging, but all should be proud of this moment.
Flags on the play. Too many men?
9 men on the field, which is only a penalty in 8-man football.
Right. Typically, you'd be too short.
We have 2 infractions on the play. We have illegal shift, the offense, illegal participation, too many men on the field, on the defense, penalties offset. We will replay, first down.
Well stated.
You know, there's some freshmen out here for Elgin Public Pope John that are looking for a girlfriend, and if they score on this drive, it will have no problem.
Back home.
That's right.
Courtesy Blake Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Pelster now in there at quarterback.
All the youngsters.
Pelster keeps it himself.
Baby.
Oh, baby. Pelster's got room. Pelster into the corner. Touchdown.
you, Pelster. Go pick one. You got them all, brother.
Golly. Final minute of the game, and Pelster comes in around the left side. Touchdown.
One more look at it, pulls it out of the belly, and plenty of room for Pelster.
He kind of looked surprised he was that wide open out there.
He kind of slowed down a little bit.
He's like, do I take it into the end zone or take a knee?
That looks like, yeah, it looks like they're filling up the water cooler on the sideline for Elgin Public Pope John. See if, where's old John Bishop? Is he anywhere near that water cooler?
John is, might be at the concession stand.
So 40-14 now. Elgin Public Pope John 35 seconds away from winning back-to-back state championships.
Boy, they put it on this second half. Look at that. That was a 32-point second half, and you're telling me that this team didn't get a pep talk by the seniors? That's a little splash for the coach there, Carly. Well, they better get a bigger one out there. I think they got one teed up.
Well, this community really has come together around this team, both Elgin Public and Elgin Pope John. We talked to Carly Wells about that support.
It's great, the fan support. You know, most schools emerged 3 years ago in football, and it's just brought our town together. These kids have always been friends, but it just made everybody come together, the whole community, and they really support our programs. They're at Elgin Public and Pope John.
So the kick goes deep. It'll be taken by the up man at the 15-yard line. Out near the 30 on the carry by Devin Sheffield.
He ran that one hard, didn't he? He looked fast.
Good business. Wholesale changes on both sides of the football now as we're 29 seconds away.
Ball control in the second half led Elgin Public Pope John to a victory. They held it for 16 minutes and 44 seconds of the allotted 24.
Freshman Sam Zeleny in the game at quarterback. Zeleny drops back, looks downfield, and just overthrown. Looking for Jesper Anker.
I really didn't see this coming at halftime.
No.
I mean, I thought this thing was going to come down to the last possession or two. I didn't know if anybody was going to be able to get a two-score lead, and if I thought there was going to be one, it might be by Exeter-Milligan because they had the lead at half. But 32 unanswered, and this has turned into a game that we didn't see heading into the third quarter.
Zeleny back to pass again. Under pressure and escapes.
That could be it. Both teams should be very proud. Hard, tough fight today.
And that will do it. So Elgin Public, Pope John, the Wolfpack, and head coach Carly Wells win back-to-back state championships in Class D1. 40-14 over the Timberwolves.
Battle of the Wolves today, and everyone on the field, especially that guy, Carly Wells, he had them ready. That locker room was roaring at halftime. They came out. A lot to be proud of today for this Elgin Public Pope John football team. Back-to-back state champs.
You feel like just a couple of plays went a long way in this one when you talk about momentum. And boy, did they take advantage. Give them credit for that, and for Exeter-Milligan, not what they wanted here today. But as you said, they should be very proud. They for the first two quarters, were leading the reigning state champions and really did a lot of good things in those first two quarters. Let it slip in the second half, but two football teams that have made their communities very proud.
Well, the D1 championship is in the books. Trophy, medals, and all the presentations coming up. It was the Wolfpack knocking off the Timberwolves, 40-14.
What inspired me to pursue a career in technology was the fact that I have kids. We need the internet. They wouldn't be able to do any of their research without it. It's really important for our children to think science and technology is important. I believe that all kids should look towards technology because that's where the world is going. Get involved in all of the science activities because all of that experience can lead you a long way.
To find out what you can do to inspire a young person, visit connectamillionminds.com.
I know he's not talking yet, but I know what he wants.
Do you think she should be walking by now?
Oh, he'll grow out of it, won't he?
Delays in development can be tricky to spot, especially when you are so close to the ones you love. If you have concerns or just have questions about your child's development, the Early Development Network is here to help. The sooner you call, the sooner you can make a difference for your child. Call your local district or toll free for a free evaluation.
My senior year in high school, I was wrestling and sustained a concussion.
It was really hard on all of us as a family. It doesn't have to be a major blow to the head to cause damage.
From deciding to sit out, I really believe that I recovered almost completely. It was a hard decision to sit out, but my doctor told me I would have brain damage later on if I risked wrestling. A high school sport wasn't worth risking brain damage to me.
NET Sports coverage of the 2012 NSAA Football Championships are brought to you in part by the Nebraska Public Power District, applauding the dedication, teamwork, and sportsmanship of Nebraska's high school athletes. By the Nebraska Soybean Board, encouraging the use of renewable biodiesel fuels for a healthier environment. For information, nebraskasoybeans.org. By Time Warner Cable, inspiring young people to build the skills they need in science, technology, engineering, and math to become the problem solvers of tomorrow. And by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, reminding you that a concussion is a brain injury. For information, go to dhhs.ne.gov/concussions. Right. Well, back in Lincoln, Nebraska, inside Memorial Stadium, the Class D1 state championship is now final. The Elgin Public Pope John Wolfpack knock off the Timberwolves of Exeter-Milligan 40-14, 32 unanswered in the second half. They trailed it 14-8 at the break, but a big second half leads to their second straight state championship. Now for the medals and the trophy presentation, let's go to Doc Weininger.
The Nebraska School Activities Association is honored to have medals and trophies for both of these outstanding teams. The award presentations will be made by NSAA Board of Directors Jay Beller from Battle Creek, Mark Norvell from Fillmore Central, and NSAA Executive Director Rhonda Blanford Green. Here are the awards for the Class D1 runner-up, Exeter-Milligan. Will Head Coach Dean Philippi and your assistants please present the silver medals to the members of your team. Players, as your name is called, please come forward to receive your medal. Number 1, Dustin Axline. Number 3, Samuel Zeleny. Number 4, Jared Maxson. Number 5, Robert Androina. Number 7, Jesper Anker. Number 10, James Sluka. Number 19, Nathan Oliva. Number 20, Sean Maxson. Number 21, Nolan White. Number 22, Braden Olson. Number 23, Jesse Hall. Number 27, Devin Sheffield. Number 28, Kyle Jensen. Number 32, Jonathan Mounts. Number 36, Dalton Zelenka. Number 50, Brock Mueller. Number 58, Brody Kresak. Number 63, Blake Popek. Number 65, Zachary Kroll. Number 73, Garrett Gribble. Number 81, Spencer Popek. Number 82, Derek Luzum. Number 85, Kirby Soka. Number 96, Jack Deneen. And now, here's the 2012 Class D1 runner-up trophy. Congratulations, Exeter-Milligan High School.
You can see it on the faces. It stings a little bit now, but they'll look back at this and remember they were the first team from Exeter-Milligan to ever make a state championship game. They had been to 10 consecutive state playoffs and finally making their first trip to the finals. So an outstanding season for the Exeter-Milligan Timberwolves, finishing the year at 12-1.
That senior class left a legacy. And that's what happens here in the Memorial Stadium State Championship Week for Nebraska high school sports. Legacies are left. And those guys, they worked hard today.
So congratulations to the Timberwolves of Exeter-Milligan, your runner-up in Class D1, finishing, as we said, finishing the year 12-1. Now for the champions, we head back to our public address announcer, Doc Weiniger.
And now to the champions from Elgin Public and Pope John High Schools. First, head coach Carly Wells, we have a special award for you. Now, Coach, would you and your assistants please present the gold medals to the members of your championship team. Players, as your name is called, please come forward to receive your medal. Number 2, Levi Kirkman. Number 4, Alex Pelster. Number 5, Andrew Fangman. Number 6, Ross Schindler. Number 7, Ryan Pelster. Number 8, Seth Shoemaker. Number 10, Nick Heidoff. Number 11, Truman Copeland. Number 12, Tyler Smith. Number 13, Shane Beckman. Number 15, Kyle Koloff. Number 16, Austin Mees. Number 17, Zach Polk. Number 18, Austin Hyde. Number 19, Lee Bartak. Number 21, Blake Anderson. Number 25, Chase Preister. Number 27, Andrew Haida. Number 28, Alois Warner. Number 37, Scott Moser. Number 38, Blake Schrage. Number 48, Kyle Haida. Number 55, Trent Bauer. Number 75, Bo Haida. Number 77, Alex Grossero. Number 81, Peter Starman. Number 85, Trent Hofer. Number 89, Dylan Bang. And now, for these outstanding athletes and their schools, here's the 2012 Class D1 State Football Championship Trophy. Congratulations, Elgin Public and Pope John High School.
Well, looks like Carly Wells has something going on there at Elgin Public Pope John. Back-to-back state championships. And both of them, last year they beat Guardian Angels Central Catholic 44-14. They win it this year 40-14. Back-to-back unbeaten seasons, and they've been dominant here at state.
The defense was really good in the second half, and Ross Schindler and his offense was able to get it going just enough to put Exeter-Milligan away. You know, give them a lot of credit. This is a day that these kids will never forget. This community, back-to-back championships, and now you go back to work,
right?
And try to come back here again in 13.
He'd like to enjoy it for at least a night. He would appreciate that, right?
They gotta clean up the trophy case, man. Find a spot for these things. They're on their way to just quite a legendary type approach to this 2011-2012 season, undefeated and very proud.
Let's go down to the field with the champs in John Bishop.
After wringing out his shirt from the Gatorade Dunk, second year in a row, you gotta like that.
Yep, feels good. We have a great group of kids that worked hard over the summer, and they just did a super job and put the time in all year long, and I'm just proud of their efforts and their hard work and their diligence to keep their head up and keep looking forward and keep working.
That first drive was very instrumental to really what the tone of the second half was. What did you tell the kids at halftime? What was the attitude in the locker room? You'd never been behind at half this year.
Well, I just walked in and told everybody to take a deep breath and relax. We've just hurt ourselves the first half. We've turned the ball over twice, and they capitalized on it. Then we just went over some things, some of our blocking scheme and defensively, just to make sure everybody was on the same page. Defensively, we weren't, and offensively, we weren't. And then we just told them to come out and play like we can and clean things up, and we did. And we set the tone on defense, and their offense, we drove it right down on them. So,
congratulations.
Thank you.
And the man of the hour, Ross Schindler. That's 2 in a row for you.
Yeah, feels pretty good, I guess, both times. I mean, no, one's not greater than the other, I don't think. So.
Talk about the first touchdown. You got it. It was third play of the game, and you got the whole. Tell us about it.
It was a big play, I guess. I read it right, and I guess everyone did their job blocking, so it's a big play.
And not to mention in the other end zone, the interception that really kind of ended their last threat. Looked like you came down wrong. Was it the ankle, the knee?
It was a play before that. I tried to knock down a pass, and I just got a knee to my thigh, and I think it was just a deep thigh bruise. But you know, you got to play through that type of stuff.
Doesn't hurt anymore, does it?
Doesn't hurt as bad, that's for sure.
Well, congratulations, 2 in a row.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, John, and congratulations once again to Elgin Public Pope John. That's one of those success breeds success, and you can see this continuing for the Wolfpack.
That's what happens in a community. You start to see the younger kids, see the older kids win win big, win state championships, even get to the playoffs, for all these communities that have a chance to participate in the state playoffs and even get to the finals, then they want to be a part of that. They want to go out there under the lights on Friday night and represent their community. So right now they've got it rolling, and I would guess this team is going to work just as hard next summer heading into the fall.
Well, I want to remind everybody, coming up tonight in the Class A state championship, it's Omaha North and Millard North. Should be a good one in Class A. We'll have all of those, the entire game for you live tonight here on NET1 and NET HD. That's a wrap, though, from the Class D1 State Championship. For Matt Davison, Blake Lawrence, John Bishop down on the field, I'm Larry Putney. Pleasure having you with us here this afternoon for the D1 State title. Once again, the Wolfpack over the Timberwolves, 40-14 for the Class D1 title. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight.
Congratulations, Elgin Public